Hello,
that type
people.
of thing.
Don't mind us.
We're just admitting that everyone is cunts. As Steamforge Games said as they quit Guild Ball, if it hadn't been for our player base, we'd have been able to keep going. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's very weird. I was just wondering why that scroll was so flat. That must have been a problem in the VCL player, but well, that was our Jerry. And we welcome back our Jerry, the other one, not the squirrely one. How have you been the last week? Did you sweat yourself to death, or is it not so bad?
I've currently got a fan just aimed at my ball bag, so it's not too bad, although it is hot.
Oh, I hope nobody can hear my fan that is sending a light breeze to my feet, because I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. The heat is ridiculous. They're offering thunder and lightning this evening, but I'm not looking at any clouds in the sky, so I don't think I'm going to get any thunder or lightning. I think I'm just going to get more shit heat.
We have to wait and see. But the best way to fight heat is with something cold.
That's true.
Cheers.
Sláinte.
Oh, how disappointing. Normally...
I managed to find Clontarf in Ireland. An Irish whiskey in Ireland. Huh?
Unheard of.
Huh? This one certainly fucking is. I think actually my local off license had it hidden somewhere or had forgotten about it, and there's like 3 bottles. And I went in on Saturday and there was 3 bottles sitting behind them. It's like, you've got fucking Clontarf, I'll have one. So this is the second of the 3 they had. It's currently...
So, why is it problematic to get Irish whiskey in Ireland?
Because Clontarf came up against the juggernauts that are Warhammer 40k, Bushmills, and Warhammer Fantasy Battle / Age of Sigmar, Jamesons. And like every other fantasy and science fiction war game, they got their face punched off them. So you can get this in Sweden without a fucking problem. You can get this in many countries in Europe. It's you can walk into stores and find it. In Ireland, they just go, there's no point in stocking it. Nobody will drink it. Which is a shame, because it is by far and away the best Irish blend, although this is actually the single malt. It's the best Irish blend on the market. If you're out there in Europe and you see Clontarf, pick it up. It's so smooth, you won't even know you're drinking it. And if you can find, the single malt was only £4 more than the blend. It's just like, God bless you. So that's what I've managed to do today while I've been working. It's like half a bottle gone.
That's okay. So you're lightly ahead of me.
Just a bit, but to be fair, it's only whiskey, so it's not. It doesn't even count as drinking, really. It's more like medicine. Because anytime I stop taking it, I get like really shaky, and shivery and stuff.
Oh, nobody would want that. No, would we?
There's a man delivering a pizza or something across the road, and he's currently doing his bell tap in the middle of the street, which is, I think, is a sign of quality in any man who's doing food delivery door to door, just standing in front of his car, footering with himself, one hand down his pants and the other hand on his belt. So,
if the hand isn't too far down in the rear.
No, it's not down the rear at all, it's in the front.
Well, let's say hello to Amanda, Crazy Red Coat, Dutch, Lorna, and Tuffy. Welcome all.
Budgie. Your paint will not dry.
What?
What weather are you experiencing, Lorna? You lucky bastard. I can't even get paint onto my brush without it drying out. I've just got solid brushes now. I can use them like javelins.
Just as Laughing Boy said, he tried to prime some miniatures and simply got them literally dusted because the paint dried.
The heat. That is the worst. That is the fucking worst. I've been... You'll know this. You've got an airbrush now.
Mm-hmm.
So I airbrushed this little chap.
Oh, he's a nice one.
Moo. He's some sort of goat, and that's from Coruscant. And then I also found this from Forge World before Forge World left Ireland and went to England to be shit. and overpriced. So I'm
Well,
not a giant troll.
there was a time when Forge World wasn't overpriced.
Yeah, yeah. Forge World started off.
Hard to believe.
In fact, you're not going to be able to see this because there's no light here. I wonder if no, I don't have a lighter there. The sculptor's name is on the back of this, right where my finger is here, and it's Sean, because Forge World started off as a Irish resin company in Whitehead, just up the road from me on the north coast, and they used to do resin castles for Irish tourism. So if you want Blarney Castle, if you went to Blarney and then you bought a little resin castle, you would buy it from these guys from Whitehead, or if you got Carrickfergus Castle, they were all sculpted and made there. A Games Workshop decided they were going to start doing this. So the first things produced by Forge World were 10mm castles for Warmaster, which were just reproductions of the Irish castles. So if you bought the castles for Warmaster, one of them was a tower that was actually Blarney, that had a fella kneeling down kissing the Blarney stone while somebody else held onto their legs, that you would have to chip off because they were the wrong scale for Warmaster. Then they did these big fuckers, the large display pieces, and then they started doing terrain. It was a long time before they did any miniatures, so I've got like 10 busts and large figures from them and some various terrain pieces they did, and they were all reasonably priced for the scale of them. I mean, I think that was like 40 or 50 pounds, which isn't bad when you consider it's probably about 12 to 15 centimeters tall.
It's large enough to make out details even in the webcam.
Yeah. Well, you see it on Sunday because this will be my hobby time for this week once I've done some more work on it. I've come up with an interesting way of doing stone trolls, which I'll explain later on when people are when people are eating their dinner on the weekender, because I'm hoping that it will cause a lot of people to vomit. So that's good.
But you're going the route of the old clothing dye with pee and poo.
Exactly, that type of thing. Oh, on that note, on the thing, because I did watch last week's show, although not at the time. Hang on 1 second. Let's get my light stick. So Alclad, somebody was doing Alclad metals. You were asking about them. They're very good fire brushing, but they're lacquer based metallics. So yes, they are a thing. I can't remember who was doing stuff in Alclads.
Well, I can't either. I should have.
No, but you were going. If anybody knows who's what these are or what the name of the thing is, they're you're better off with sticking with the Vallejo ones. I was showing off the metal colors because they go through an airbrush easier. The Alclads require thinners and then cleaners, so they will go down easier and they don't dry as quickly.
Well, I think
so. They're less issue to get airbrushed nicely, so you can get a really smooth, nice coat with them. But because they're lacquer based, you then have to use various thinners and cleaners through airbrush to clean them off. So what you gain in the ease of airbrushing, you lose in the cleanup and the toxic materials that you're having to have. Well, so Alclads are great, though. They are a superb range of materials. Then I will
stick with the Vallejo paints, as I have been told by various sources. If you've chosen one particular brand of airbrush paint and cleaner and thinner, you might want to stick within one range because they are somehow tuned to another. Don't know how much truth there is to it, but I can see there's some reason behind it.
Yeah, it's like if you're using Vallejo, and then you get Vallejo thinners and Vallejo cleaners, and all of those are geared for their paints. So, for example, you got a range of paints and you got flow improver. By the way, that flow improver, you don't need a huge amount of that.
No
if you
drops.
If you get yourself a bottle like that, like an old paint bottle, and fill it 9/10 filled with distilled water, so the sort of stuff you would put in a car radiator or that sort of thing, and then fill the last 10th with flow improver, and then use that to drip in to mix your stuff. You don't need a huge amount. It's handy just to have it that way. In fact, I have
on the bottle.
In fact, there's mine there.
On the bottle it said
plus flow
10,
improver.
10 to 20 drops of paint, add 1 to 2 drops of flow improver.
Yeah,
That worked really well with the...
Yeah, so this is my thinner and flow improver mix. So I actually use this to to dilute my airbrushes. So it's good.
So hang on, this is going to be
it
bright.
Will last you forever and a day.
Clock.
Look at it.
This was the last piece I did airbrushing.
Yeah.
Not
That's
the red
the Carrick
part.
Fergus Castle looking fucker there. Yeah.
The link from Tuffy.
Mm.
So this is basically a very nicely worked beige sand from the crashed escape pod.
Pods of escapeness.
And yesterday I got myself this one. The Alb.
Ooh.
Finally all heroes completed. Now I'm only missing 2 goblins with axes. And then the hero quest set is complete, apart from the box. And the other fuckers are still soaking. It's not getting off.
Have you tried Flame?
What? Fire?
Flame, fire, bring warmth, destroyer of civilizations.
Not yet.
Fire. There's somebody selling a Blarney Castle as well. Warmaster out of production. Fucking just go to Blarney Castle and pick it up in the bastard gift shop. For fuck's sake.
I bet the price difference isn't so significant.
Oh no, I'm going to go out and limit to the price difference is fucking outrageous. There were 3 castles there. There was that one, there was Blarney, and there was another. I can never remember what the other one was. Anyway, I digress.
Well, we're 12 minutes in it. Let's start, shall we?
Yes.
The first one seems to be a... How should I put it? A knock on the head to me? To get on with the box?
It's what? Who? Telling you to go and sort your shit out with Indomitus.
Oh, I've sorted. It's all finely stacked next to me.
Oh, there you go then. This is from Bendium.
Benidem.
New painter attempting not to ruin the Indomitus Space Marines. You can't ruin them. They're Space Marines. You can do whatever you want. You can go nuts.
But are there Space Marines? I thought they were Primaris. Wasn't that supposed to be something different?
Yeah, they're
same but different.
Fucking nothing different in them at all. In another year's time, they'll be the only Space Marines that are available. Once they finally get rid of all the old people playing their Space Marines, and then they'll tell them they're not allowed to play with their old shit in Games Workshops, and they'll all have to buy Primaris. Because GW are cunts.
Yeah, that's, I think,
Shut up, you cunt!
a well-known fact established by now.
But
So he's painting them in a dark green.
he's going dark angely, so it's exciting. It's new / old. I'm assuming the silver kicking in on bits of the shoulder pad and that sort of thing are chips, which is a nice little touch, so to speak. Bit heavy-handed in places, but considering these are sort of the first models they're really getting to grips with, it does the job. I quite like the two-tone brown on the pistol scabbard as well. So I don't know if that's a...
I'd say that's a contrast paint pooling.
Yeah.
And these pictures get embiggened a lot.
Oh, they're fucking huge. Oh, Lloyd would love it.
Lance
Jamie's not there.
would have a field day with this.
I'm sure he would, but he's doing other things these days.
he might even get off on him.
Yeah, well,
And I think
each to their own.
This is your favorite picture because, in embiggened you can't read it so well. So there's some whiskey
but
bent
it's spelt wrong.
and stadium bound. Whatever that means.
Whiskey bent. What? And stadium bound. Somebody who's got fucked up on whiskey. Going to rape a football player in a stadium. What's happening? I don't know. It's not right.
So, that doesn't sound very...
No, I'm confused / scared now.
Yeah, whiskey bent and stadium bound, definitely. And four different letters.
Well, each to their own.
Well,
Someday Columbo will track him down based on this.
probably.
But yeah, it's a nice
start.
It's a nice start. I will say I don't know if he's used contrast for the green as well. I know he said the Snakebite's contrast, bolter red, blah blah blah, uniformity color, blah blah blah. Yeah. Dark Angel's green contrast for the main armor. If you're looking at it round the neck and helmet, it's patchy.
A bit.
Because contrast is shit. There's not much you can do about that as far as the material goes. It will just always be patchy and shit because it's contrast. But there's a delightful gentleman. He's Spanish, but that's not his fault. That's his parents' fault for not moving away from Spain before he was conceived. But Juan Hidalgo something or other.
The Vallejo painting guy.
He does use Vallejo a lot, but no, he's not the Vallejo painting guy. I know him from Kings of War. He does a lot of Kings of War stuff. But he's done a rake of stuff on YouTube. In fact, I'll pull up his YouTube channel and poke the link in here. He has done a selection of bits and pieces in what he calls heavy contrast. I go Juan Hidalgo, will that find it? It will, because by fuck, that's practically his name. So what he does is he uses contrast as a base coat, and then he will work up from it, and he's done Space Marines, Sisters of Battle, and some Chaos Space Marines, and he's done some astoundingly good work. Anybody who wants to use contrast for more than just I'm going to slap it on and walk away, which you can do. It can be all right. It can be a bit messy in places, but it can be all right. But if you want to actually go, well, contrast will do my base coat and shade, and then I'll do highlights. It's a fantastic resource. He's a absolute fucking legend. He's done non-metallics and stuff using contrast as well. Even did things like using the fact that contrasts are semi-transparent to do scales on some Chaos Space Marines. Essentially mapping out where the scales would go and then filling in the internal color structure. If you're not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you really should be. I will be checking. Just saying.
This video is from October 2019. Is contrast paint really that old?
Yes. It was 1 year old about 3 weeks ago when we did a follow-up after Warren had mashed some contrast paint with his fingers like an ape. Because he used it at, it wasn't Salute, it might have been...
Was it UK Games Expo?
UK Games Expo was there.
I'm pretty sure Warren showed off something at UK Games Expo last year.
That was, so that was the initial release. So it's about a year and a month old at this stage. So it's hardly any time at all, and people are still getting to grips with what you can do.
Look at this color scheme, these edge highlighting.
Yeah. Like I say, he's very good. He is still Spanish, so don't worry too much, because he always has that cross to bear. But any of the heavy contrast painting tutorials for the Marines, the Sisters, the Chaos Space Marines, the Sig Marines show what you can do using contrast as a base to do like the initial 3 or 4 steps. So you're not going base, shade, contrast, highlight, blah blah blah. You go one coat with the contrast, will do the first 3 or 4 steps, and then I'm just doing the last couple of steps to bring it beyond that. It's an excellent YouTube channel.
Give that man.
He's practically Dutch. He is practically Dutch. After all, you are Spanish in the Netherlands, aren't you? It explains why you have that bit in your national anthem.
Well, just let's say we are all Europeans here currently.
Well, I am.
Well, next up is Deneb by Dave Hawes.
Yes.
Never heard of Deneb.
So, Dave is a site member for a few years now. He decided to come up with his own game called Deneb, which I have a copy somewhere. He sent us a copy to play through to start sort of trying, and then he was demonstrating it, I think, at a salute. So it's a fantasy skirmish board game. It's a bit woo, it's a little bit wild. It's geezer. It is different, but he uses the project system to play test new things and also to get feedback on them. So the 3D sculpts, the digital sculpts he's had done based on the artwork that he's had commissioned. And people go, oh, the tits are too big, or the angles are too narrow, or so people give suggestions, and then he's amended stuff. But it's an interesting little thing. I have a set of the miniatures to paint. I hope to do that. Weirdly, me and Lance, this is how fucking long this has been kicking around. Me and Lance had talked about trying to get it under camera to do a let's play, but then we never got the time set aside. But since that initial set came through, he has been developing the background and developing the other factions and expanding, so there's more coming. So there are plans for Deneb to go further. If I put my glasses on, I might be able to see things.
How is the sculpt quality?
Hang on. You sound like Deneb. Oh, in fact, you say minis on you. So yeah, no. So these are 3D prints. Now, I've had to prime them.
So these are masters, not production models.
These were 3D prints. So they were actually printed in a transparent, clear, colorless thing. But there's no fucking way you're going to be able to see these, is there?
It's a black man.
No, there isn't. Yeah, it will just be black. The miniatures we got sent through, the 3D prints, are absolutely beautiful. The level of detail they've got from the renders is second to none. So whatever he's using, I imagine this is a high-end spec 3D printer or company that does the masters for a lot of people who do 3D CAD printing for their miniatures. So the renders are second to none. The sculpts are second to none. As far as board game pieces go, I would say they're above and beyond. There's a lumberjack who looks not dissimilar to myself with a massive beard and huge hair.
Totally coincidence.
And then there's a little tiny kitty cat as well from somebody else with a split tail.
So you're playing this game 1v1 or is it cooperative? Or
it's 1v1. It's practically a board game. It's played. If you scroll back slightly, you've just passed it. There's a grid there. You can see it. So you play on a small map grid. You're not playing on a skirmish tabletop essentially. So the game itself is based around the miniatures and like a constructed card deck.
It reminds me a bit of Imperial Assault.
Yes,
slightly.
You wouldn't be a million miles away in that respect. Where the fuck did I put my glasses? Did I put it behind me?
Also, we're already at 2018, so this is definitely a long-running project for him.
Yeah. I mean, long time before he sent the prototype through to us, he'd been working on it for about a year and a half. So you're looking at 18 months development before we got the prototype, and then another year's development since then to start to expand. So.
And he also made a module for Vessel so we can play online.
You can, which is a thing I've heard about. I will tell you what, I will dig out the copy, which had been sitting beside me for a fuckload of time and apparently now has disappeared somewhere else. I'll dig it out. I will do a little review on it. For people who want to know my thoughts, but if you haven't come across it before, definitely go and have a butcher at the actual Deneb, because this isn't just about the gameplay and mechanics, but also the background, the sculpts. So you can feed in to Dave and let him know what you think about various aspects, and go, well, I think this would look better if she had bigger Norks, because people have told you to rein in her Norks, and massive Norks are amazing. I'm just saying, they are.
Well, it might be a weird one, me saying that, but I think there need to be some sculpts with people with no long hair. Oh, every sculpt has long hair. That's getting quite boring.
But I mean, that is the sort of thing. Just feed it back to them.
We need some bold guys.
It has this weirdly. I mean, I don't know if you remember, there was a game, Gates of Antares, which was Rick Priestley's follow-up to 40K.
I remember the name, yes.
Yeah. And when they initially tried to launch it on Kickstarter, they put up a work in progress sculpt of a miniature you would get if you backed the Kickstarter. And it was only work in progress, and they hadn't put the hair on yet. So he had a big tash, an eye patch, a fuck off huge gun, and bald. And everybody went, oh, he looks amazing. And they're going, he's not finished yet, he hasn't got his hair on him. And they're going, don't put hair on him. Leave him like that. He looks fucking great.
Don't give him an Elvis Presley wing.
Yeah, it's just weird how sometimes things like that turn out. But yeah, bald people always look great.
Don't tell Justin.
No, well, unless they were Justin, is what I was going to film. But it's not like he's ever going to see this, so don't worry. But yeah, so Deneb.
Oh, he probably won't see the whole show, but I'm guessing some people in the audience will be doing a snippet and showing him that.
Oh, don't worry, he won't watch that anyway. He doesn't care what people think. In the grand scheme of things, he kind of ignores everybody else and doesn't pay attention. So,
well, let's jump to the next one, which you have kindly provided the next link to. Firelog 22, A Tale of Two Games, Bolt Action.
Yes. Oh, it's a very brief one.
Can you tell me why I'm always under the impression that Bolt Action had been a 50mm game?
Because there's no reason why it can't be.
For some reason, every time I hear about World War II enacting war games, I always imagine Flames of War 50mm.
I've seen lots of people play Bolt Action in 15 and in 20mm, because, like most things, it works better if you drop it down a couple of scales, because then the weapon ranges make sense, and also tanks aren't as pervasive then.
Well, Thomas, I don't think you have tech skills. I know there are some in the audience that have tech skills. Just look at Blinky and the one who is not currently here because he's doing a 12-hour painting stream.
Sorry, it's a little fly.
Did you know Laughing Boy and his son are doing a 12-hour painting stream right now?
I didn't know that, but I did see you trying to work out whether or not Mini Laughing Boy was in some way related to Laughing Boy last week, and I did look at that going, really, do you think he might be related? Well, perhaps discuss.
It could be somebody trolling Laughing Boy.
Oh, that's true.
It's after all, it's the internet, and people are the worst.
People are terrible bastards. Terrible, terrible bastards.
So back to Firelog 22. He's playing the good guys against the baddies.
He is. And this is an interesting one because, and I'm hoping we see more of this, he's got his friend into playing historics, and his friend hasn't done 28mm before or painted anything before, so this was literally just he got to pick what they were going to play. So he went, fuck it, I want to play 28mm World War II. So he picked Bolt Action. So this is the initial start from the Germans.
And he has got a poster.
I wanted to point this out. Not this one in particular. That's the second picture.
The Empire calls today.
Yeah, it may well have done. If you look at the very first picture he put up, you'll see that this board isn't used just for Bolt Action.
Yes.
aliens, they go the house. Heretic, mutant, Xenos. This is multi-purpose terrain. And that, I think, more than World War II, amused me. Because I'm easily amused.
We need a Roman soldier next to that.
Yeah. Or a couple of Space Marines telling a squat to fuck off.
Well, that would not end good, would it?
There was that big Marines out picture from the middle of Rogue Trader.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Crazy. Definitely. I mean, why? Because why would you not have it up there? And at no point did I ever think Xenos in place of Roman. Romane, they go the house. But it's nice. Obviously, these are his Germans, so we have to wait and see what his friend, who hasn't done any shit before, does with the Yankee Pankies. But it's a nice little start. They're very quintessentially movie Germans. They have that early war look with the green grey, you know.
They're all still very much focused and have some.
Don't worry about the focus. That'll go in time. But they have a good amount of detail on them. But they are early war looking uniforms. But they have what I would say is probably a more mid to late war amount of weaponry with them.
Still full of energy and pizzazz.
Oh yeah. He's gone to the hassle of actually painting on things like the collarettes and epaulets on them, which is more than I could be fucked with. So he's off to a great start there, and I hope he's actually going to take a picture of what his mate's doing with the Germans, with the US. So yeah,
we shall see what his friend will come up with.
He has said they make no apologies for it not being historically accurate. They are just painting to play. Fuck you guys. I think reading between the lines there, like Steamforge games. Fuck you guys. You ruined our game. We've had to shut it down now. Fuck you guys.
Well, let's ruin the next project then.
Here, Panzer. I'm not saying I had to get new specs recently. My new specs are Hugo Boss. If it's good enough for marching into Poland, it's good enough for me to see down the street. That's what I always say.
So we have a lovely baby.
A lovely baby? I would hate to see pictures of your child. If that's what you think is a lovely baby, that's not right. That baby only. That should be in a tank full of spice, bending space.
No, the eyes are too big for it. That's a pilot apprentice. So this is by Dan Lee, Kingdom Death.
Yeah.
I think we have seen him before.
Well, he's in the chat going woohoo at the moment, so we best pick our words carefully here. So, I picked this to show people that, even if you can't paint, you can still get on this show.
I was just about to say he shouldn't wake the giants, especially not with half a whiskey.
But no, it's one of these things. Kingdom Death has got such a spectacular range.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. Good day!
It's incredibly difficult to get unless you back the Kickstarter. You rarely see it. You'll see somebody will do a range of Kingdom Death stuff and then there'll be nothing. It's not like 40k where half of the projects that are started are 40k projects, or there's fucking Space Marines around every corner. You'll occasionally get a little Kingdom Death nugget, which is a shame because the work of the sculpts is beautiful, and they're sort of not underground, but they're pushed to the wayside because people don't have the access to them that you would see. So it's really nice to see somebody actually getting to grips with Kingdom Death. So the other thing is, some people have Kingdom Death and then they go, I wouldn't know where to start, and you never even get them fucking painted.
So it's sort of an indie product that is available in stores or is not?
Yes/no/discuss. It's been Kickstarted twice. I have Kingdom Death stuff before they started doing a game. He started doing boutique miniatures in resin and then went into plastics and then did the Kickstarter for the game. And then did the second 1.5 Kickstarter to expand the game and to give people a chance to get it again. So there are stuff available from his website, but it's not the full range, and you might go on and go, well, this is available and that's not, and he's got this but they're out of stock. So you can get bits and bobs. You can't get a complete range at one go unless you back the Kickstarter, but the work on it is superb. There's an awful lot of tits and ass, which isn't everybody's cup of tea, but
I was just about to say that those don't look like gaming pieces. Those look more like busts in miniature format.
Yeah. No, he has. I mean, and everything you get. Can I be arsed? Where's my? Oh, there's mine there. Hang on. So that's the Pinups of Death, which is a delightful little box with like UV stuff on it. But whenever you buy anything, whether it's a resin or plastic or whatever, it would come with a pin-up card, and so you get this really nice artwork, and then you get the miniature that goes with it, and it really if you ever want to apply the phrase boutique to a miniature range, the Kingdom Death range is that. It's a stunning range for people who want to collect and paint something that really is almost artwork in itself. The fact there's a game attached to it now is neither here nor there for me, because I'm a whore for nice miniatures. I couldn't give a tinker's jizz if there's actually a game attached. I used to, and then games would die on their backside before they ever got anywhere, so now I just go for the nice things. And Dan Lee has done some beautiful work here on them.
Which is a reasonable thing to do if your focus is on the mini, and the game is basically free with the minis.
You know, I work on the principle, fuck it. If there's a game attached and I play the game, happy days. If there's a game attached and I never play the game, I don't care. I've still got a nice miniature. There are some stunning companies out there doing beautiful work that never really gain traction. So it's nice to see that he's just working through bits and pieces. And as you've seen, because you've been diving on ahead there, it's not just the Kingdom Death stuff. There's 40k and fantasy and
he's doing a great job with excellent text work to the pictures.
Yeah,
even by glancing over, highlighting all the things, and knowing the bugginess of the project system. Hats off to you, sir. That's a fuck ton of work. People really normally can't be bothered to do.
I could, but you know, it would require me to actually paint something, and who's going to do that?
And to save every 5 minutes just to be sure that your minutely scribbled down text doesn't go bazong.
I could indeed play Saga Age of Magic, Loner. You're correct. Could I play it with? I don't have enough to do a complete warband Saga Age of Magic. I don't, unfortunately. Although I will say, Gripping Beast put up a post at the weekend that we haven't done on the news article yet because Ben missed it and I've been busy doing other things. But Matthew Bickley did a Witch Hunter warband specifically for Saga Age of Magic, which is fucking amazeballs. If anybody is big into the Warhammer Empire range, it fits perfectly with that. If you've got stuff already, and if you don't, then you could get this as a little standalone. It's not I think there's like 9 or 10 miniatures at the moment, but they're planning more. But you could then match it with other stuff that Matt has done for Claymore castings and antediluvian miniatures with his medieval Scots and English. It's really fucking nice.
I always wondered how far will a company go to protect a miniature that's theirs but has a certain style to it that can be seen on other miniatures.
I don't know. There's one at the moment. There's a company. Fuck, I can't remember their name.
I mean, just if you take the Perry brothers, you just take pictures of those miniatures and you will recognize most of them just by looking at them.
But then, I mean, most of the stuff the Perrys did for GW, for Bretonian and Empire were based on, 100 Years' War and Italian Wars, so much so that I've seen people confuse. There's a company did a set of Landsknechts for
Landsknechte.
yeah, if you say so, for Kickstarter. Did them in plastic. Warlord bought them, and people continually confused those for Perry's Empire troops, even though the Perrys didn't sculpt them and Games Workshop didn't release them, because the Perrys just based theirs on historics. So, you know, there are shades of grey there. But then there's a company that's been on Kickstarter a few times doing resin miniatures that are really nice, Empire-like miniatures, but they've based them on fan art that was based on Warhammer Fantasy. And there's been complaints because, not by GW, but by the artists who did the fan art that then they copied or were inspired by. So it's a fucking murky world. I stay clear of that shit.
Well, that's why I don't do sculpts. That, and because I can't sculpt to save my life.
Yeah, I find that's best.
Next up, our Well of Souls.
Basket of Voles, you say? Oh, look at you. Typing shit in before I get the chance. Oh, fuck you.
I thought I would also carry some weight.
No, it's fine. No. That's grand. Take away my one job. No,
well, he has done a bit more.
He has done a bit more.
A sudden jump from styrofoam to finish.
Yeah. Well, it's not finished yet. This is the... I'm going to go out on a limb and say base coats and first layer of water effects, because I find it hard to believe that is going to be the absolute finish of that, because he wants to do a fountain. But
I think this was supposed to be only a test subject, a project of sorts, so it's an experiment, he says.
Yeah. We did say he was going to try with spouts with actual water coming out and bits and bobs like that and ripples. So, throw my pencil on the floor. Let's not throw my pencil on the floor. But again, we discussed this a few weeks ago, probably about 3 or 4 now, actually. The little tool was particularly good, but once that's painted up, I mean, that in and of itself looks terrific. Getting the water effects in there is particularly nice. I would steal that idea that fella did on Tinterwebs. It may have been Decky, actually, Pete. Printed out tiles from the bottom of a pool with all the speculative light.
And put it at the first layer.
Yeah, glued it onto the bottom of the fountain and then put water effects on top. And it looked absolutely superb. I don't know if it was Decky, but it was somebody around that neck of the woods, either Decky or Pete, or in that sphere that I seen it done with, and it was just a superb little touch where you don't have to spend a fucking age doing clever things. You just go, the light's going to make the bottom of my pool ripple, therefore I'll just take a photograph of this, run it through a printer, and hey ho, we're done. So as a test piece, it's come together very quickly, and shows you what you can do just building up layers. I was watching a fellow who's just started a YouTube channel today, literally going, terrain seems to be the last thing people think about in our hobby, and it's the most important thing, because if you put really nice painted armies down on a shit table, it looks shit. It looks terrible. If you put down miniatures that are half painted, or maybe some of the squads are completely painted and some are just base coated or whatever, on a really nice table with nice terrain, it still keeps the overall effect. You have the feeling of where you are playing. Yes, not everything's painted, but that's neither here nor there. But it breaks the immersion less having painted troops that need work than by having books or unpainted chunks of styrofoam
or beer cans
or whatever it happens to be. Terrain seems to be the last thing people think about when they're doing wargaming, and really it's as important as the actual army that you're putting down yourself. So it's nice to see this little sort of, here's my little test and here's some interesting little tools, and mine should be arriving with me this week.
So you gave the shop of Gerald a little visit?
Fuck yeah. Not only yes, but fuck yes. Also today, I got 3 stacks of 4mm cork tiles as well. So Everything's coming up, Jerry. So it's all good.
Then we shall venture on to the next project.
Venture on to the next project, you say?
I say Bushido.
Buffering too much.
We are buffering? Well, that would be bad.
I don't know, I may just be Pete's side, although it is getting near the time where Pete goes out and takes photographs of his surrounding area in delightful light to show off to annoy all of us who aren't there.
Speaking of taking pictures, I caught myself contemplating on your idea of getting pictures from around Europe with all of the member sites, and I was really thinking, where the hell could I take pictures in my immediate surrounding that don't look like any other street? And it's a rather tempting thing, not very easy.
Tricky.
Yeah, because it's flat. My immediate surroundings is a very, very flat country. So if you see something that blocks your vision, you don't see anything else.
But, and here's the thing, because obviously seeing dirt in the forests and hills and shit like that is obviously great, but what sort of architecture do you have in your area that is of any significant length of time? Is it an industrial new build that, it's like 50 years old, or do you still have areas where there are older buildings? Because even that unique art, even if you're not seeing the specific landscape or ground that is different, but the unique architecture, I was talking about Oberamagu yesterday.
The inner city has some buildings from the 1300s.
Yeah.
But those are only a handpicked full still left because we had two big fires.
Two big fires.
Similar to fires of London.
and a carpet bombing during the period when everybody was on holidays.
No, actually, that went quite smoothly.
Did you dodge that? Well,
yeah, which is weird because Oldburg was one of the first Nazi-governed cities and had an airfield and a ammunition supply. So every time now they're digging around the old airfield there, and every now and again they're finding some nice left behinds.
just bits of ordnance, yeah.
But we never got the big load like Dresden or any other city. We're much too small for that.
Crazy. There's a guy on YouTube called Medieval Warrior who does specifically medieval, but he does a couple of little bits that aren't medieval, but he is mostly medieval. It's a guy called Nick. He's Greek, and he's done a couple of videos specifically on Greek castles and fortifications from around the country, from mostly the medieval period, although obviously some of them predate them. So sort of late Roman, Byzantine into medieval. So it's really nice for castlery if you're ever after that. But yeah, so it's something before on Tabletop 2.0 or whatever the fuck it's called came along. Gaz Neugetat and myself had talked about, because he put up a load of pictures from when he was serving in Middle East. So Iraq or Afghanistan or fucking UAE or whatever it was, but he put up a load of pictures of the landscape, the terrain, the dirt, vehicles, and how they looked with the weathering on them from where they've been, and was like, what would be good? A project people could all dump stuff into and go, here is North America, here is Seattle area, here is French Canada, here is Australia with their hard-baked clay, but just being able to go, whatever I want to play, I have an idea where I can go to delve into shit.
Maybe we don't need one project for all, but just a project topic that everybody could set.
Filter, yeah.
That would be, because if I wanted to see a specific region of the world, and I would have to go through one project to find it, that would be a pain in the arse.
That is true. Well, Tom hasn't thrown anything at my head in a while, so we could always suggest another filter then.
Maybe that's because you're at home and not.
Yeah. Nowhere near him, which I find is the best way to avoid getting hit in the head by shit. Yeah, so that's certainly a thing.
So the next project is by Dark Voivod.
If you say so.
Bushido, whatever. Oh, look, he's using the terrible, expensive, and terribly not working Grasspritzdose.
I've never managed to get it. I mean, presumably some people have got it to work. All it does for me is just cover me in fucking static grass.
That's the thing they sold long before they found a way to make much more money by selling people converted fly swatters.
Yeah.
The electric knock static grass applier is much more expensive.
Look at it. Fucking look at it.
Yeah, it's
work, you fuck.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. All it does is puff out fucking grass all over my lap. On the actual miniature I'm working on.
You're better off getting yourself a cat and a balloon, and then rubbing the balloon on the cat and holding it over the static grass.
Going, why is the cat screaming? Meow, meow, meow. Oh, the balloon, you say? Okay, right, okay. But yeah, well, fair fucks to him. He should have bought 2 of them because they're cheap as chips. That is true. They are only about €5. And when you compare that to other static grass things, it seems like a great bargain. He looks like he enjoys using it.
Well,
he said in a high-pitched voice.
Maybe he's in for some kinky shit.
I don't know. If it works for him, it works for him. As per my jerry can, I think a fucking bit of plastic rod and some wool or a balloon and your hair will do the job equally well, if not better, than the knock squirty thing. Or there's another company does one that's like it's like a fucking douche, for when you're into your anal play. There's a little fucking concertinaed plastic tube thing, and some other terrain company is selling one of them.
I think the trouble with these things is, especially by the Noch products, they're made for railroad modeling, and those usually cover a wider range and not a wider area on your terrain, and not just some small spots. So maybe he's getting some use out of it because he's using it especially for bigger terrain pieces.
Maybe. Anytime I've used it, all it's done is just blow shit around. I've never had it stand up like it says on the tin. I've tried to do hills and stuff in the past, so I have tried to cover larger areas.
Looking at his terrain, it doesn't stand up for him either.
No, it's
It's more like realistic grass laying flat.
Yeah. It is what it is. And plus side, he's done himself a delightful little Zen garden.
Yes,
so that's nice.
I wonder if that's made from some kind of putty that will hopefully not start to crack at some point.
I think he has. He's done it with... What's he say there?
It would be a pain in the ass.
Does he actually say what he's done it with?
I don't know. But it would be a pain in the ass to redo that every now and again.
It doesn't say what he's done it with. I will say anybody who's ever using plaster, and I can see a crack there actually. Oh dear. Anybody who's ever doing plaster to do shit like that, mix PVA with it, because there's an elasticity to PVA. So I have a jar of ready mixed plaster that I use for my basing, which is somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, wherever I put that tub of PVA and plaster and paint, and it specifically has PVA mixed in just to give it elasticity so you don't get cracks forming as easily. You can just squirt a handful into the actual tub and that will do the job. Oh, there is there, under the hot glue gun. This was, or is, polyfiller, polycell, because I've ripped the label off. But I've had this on the go for about a year or so, probably a bit more. And I just mixed some artist poster paint acrylics in with it, and then a good dollop. I didn't measure it. I just turned a PVA tube upside down and fired it in. And it keeps it longer, and you don't get cracks. Also, if you're putting on basing, you get flex in it. So if you do drop it or knock it or chip it, you don't end up with a huge chunk falling off.
He's saying he's using air drying clay, so that
no DAS
that shouldn't crack. usually.
You say that. However, I've used that in the past.
Well, it's not supposed to crack like any filler, maybe, because the contraction isn't that big, especially on those thin pieces.
I like how he's washed his bamboo.
I'm more astounded by the fact that he's saying, "Oh, haven't done much in the last time, haven't gone far," and it's literally a week.
Oh yeah. I've knocked out the 6x4 table, but that's not much. Yeah, well, you know, there's a special place in hell for them, so don't worry about it.
It's like atheists go down the hell. No. What about people bragging about their terrain? Straight to the boiler room.
Yes, Northern Canadian picks would do the job. It would be all like French Indian Wars would be good.
Are people already suggesting nice locations to take pictures?
Oh yeah, no, they should definitely go ahead and do that.
Yes, make pictures, make projects, and then annoy Tom to make a category for
Tom
it.
and just get him to give us we just need like a geographic category that we can just click on, fire in country, or even if we start with like Northern Europe, Southern Europe, Asia, you know, just big fuck off chunky bits of terrain, and then we can go, wait, Tom, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm not too busy, Tom.
Well, have we an idea?
Yeah. Western Europe needs to be split into 15 countries. Thank you very much, Tom. Go.
It's not like we hadn't have that in the last years.
Yep.
So the next project is.
You've got to keep focused here, Tim. You're straying off too much.
Where am I?
we're like an hour in, and you've done like 2 topics because you just keep derailing the conversation and stuff.
I blame the heat.
Well, you know, you blame whatever you want.
Cheers.
Sláinte. Prost.
Zastarowie. So, the Aeronautica Imperialis does British Forces. By
From
Tarthirak, whatever.
No, it's not particularly long, so if you scroll down 3 entries, you will hit the start, or you can just flip to start.
To fly again.
Fly's fucking back. It's just one fly. Anyway, so the idea behind this is they're going to base their Aeronautica Imperialis on World War II RAF paint schemes.
Which isn't a new idea, to be honest, but if done well, it will look good.
So we start off with a bit of
research.
The research behind it. Here is a RAF plane going, and the colours they're planning on using, including the little Vallejo colour guide. Yeah, which is nice.
And then we have some first test models.
So we have, I'm going to let me say that's a Lightning. If I scroll up far enough, will it tell me if it's a Lightning?
I don't know.
No, actually, no, it's not. Because it's got too many guns, so it must be a Thunderbolt. Because Lightning just has 2 fuck off guns on it. Vallejo Medium Sea Grey. It's an amazing colour. Not as good as Dark Sea Grey, which is...
Why do you say that?
The amount of colours in it. Because if you add a bit of white and then just start to pull it out so you can see the change in tones, medium and dark sea grey have like a blue, grey, green mix. So it's really nice. I've used them for fantasy skin and tongues and stuff on monsters, because when you start adding in a bit of white or a bit of ivory to get your highlights, there are colours appear in those that you would not expect when you look at the actual neat colour. There's a lot of shit going on. Let's put it like that.
Well, I have to take a look if one of those colours is in my lovely paint sets my wife gifted me. As you have seen, if you have seen the video.
Yes, I did. 302. Just pull out my Vallejo
Sky something.
This is the well, I say there is a if I pull up this and then find that, don't want that pink conversion, is that it? Here we go. This is my gift to the people viewing. Anybody who's not viewing can go fuck themselves. Green Ochre is absolutely fucking amazing. This website, redgrimsgithub.io, whatever the fuck that is.
Input, output.
If you say so. P3, Army Painter, Vallejo, Citadel. You choose which one is your standard.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then it will give you the closest equivalent in the other 3 or 4. And to be fair, that's the main ones people are going to be using. Obviously, Scale's not in there, which is a shame because Scale 75 is a whole world of madness of its own. But it's very good if you're looking, if somebody online is doing I'm painting this using Citadel paints, and you're going, well, maybe I'm not retarded and I don't want to spend extra money on Citadel paints. What would I use if I have a brain? And then they'll tell you. Or if you've already got a load of shit from somewhere, then or perhaps you don't have a friendly game store that you can buy stuff from, so you have to get GW. So it's really nice because you can just literally go, give me that line, and then it shows you what the closest equivalent matches are. It's one of the best conversion charts on the Tinterwebs. I know this because I have 5 different conversion charts in my safe folder of various degrees of shittery.
I have searched long and far for similar things, and it's a nightmare, to put it simply.
It really is. Or you hit some that are, I mean, I've got a DACA one that's so fucking old it still lists Rackham paint line on it. You know, a paint line so old that the Egyptians go, have you not thought about moving on to something else, lads? You know. Anyway, that's my little gift to you. Fuck
Saved
other people who aren't here.
And taken.
So yeah, so Tathrika
has done some nice painting.
Yeah, I'm
I have
really
to say.
liking him. I'd like, you know, just look. I mean, that is a tiny little craft, and seeing that the fact that they've gone in there and gone, I'm going to give it the yellow cockpit, I'm going to give it the
blue
green
glass, the different greens.
Yeah, the camo, and presumably it has the sky blue bottom. So if people are looking up from below,
would be a
there's
shame
just
if not.
sky. Yeah.
Well, it's not sky blue; it's grey. But I think in the
I would have
40
went German sky blue.
Well, in the grim dark future, no sky is blue, so I think you get away with it.
Yeah, but really, I mean, I would love to see the whole set when it's completed. Hopefully, we'll see it from Tatcharik, because it'd be nice to see just a range of planes done in that sort of style,
in a continuous style that isn't 40k.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's weird because the 40k ones, match the RAF. Let me just hang on. Can I get this without tipping it all over the fucking floor? Our survey says probably not. Oh no! Oh, it's all gonna. Oh, that's an awful lot of horses to fall over.
Oh, dead horses.
Oh. So you know when you get shit like Imperial armor.
Oh, I remember that.
This is an old fucking book.
I remember that.
But when you pull up the Imperial Navy, which is at the arse end, if memory serves, a lot of the stuff was actually based on RAF and Luftwaffe patterns.
I would be lying if I'd say that would be surprising to anyone.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it wasn't as mad dog shit as some of the actual. I mean, those are the bombers looking particularly attractive there.
And you need an airbrush to get some of those patterns ready.
Well, you know, you can do it with an airbrush. You do it with a sponge. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I had a friend bought the Marauder bomber and then made me put it together for them because they didn't feel like they could fucking put it together. But the Imperial Navy was always closer to real-world patterns. I suppose because they weren't Spasmarans, and therefore didn't need to worry about being bright pink and impervious to bullets. So they actually had shit that looked more like actual aircraft camo patterns, and were quite nice because of it. This book is never getting back on that shelf again. There's a fuckload of horses looking like they're about to fall over right behind me. So if you hear something, it will be that. Fire Drake Squadron's nice. Yeah. You should do some with yellow tail fins. Takria kakaka. If you're ever watching this, look, yellow tail fins, just like that.
That's a nice detail.
It is.
And many people will be quick to point out yellow is such a pain in the ass to paint, and I say no, it's not.
No, it's not. No, don't paint yellow straight off the bat. Use a tan brown. That is the easiest way to do it. It's like painting white. Don't try and paint 15 layers of white. Start with a light grey. Blue greys are particularly good as a base coat for white. For years I used to use Space Wolf Grey before GW killed it. I'm trying to remember what the name of the blue grey is now. Anyway, I don't know. You're just distracting us again. Why do you keep distracting? I mean, there's like 15 more tabs open here. You've got to stay focused, man.
Okay, focus on the next.
Yeah.
Blinky. Not here, but he did something.
Decktan's very good as well, yeah. But Blinky has been
Busy.
trucking away on the crest of a wave, shall we say.
So he's doing little terrain.
Oh, yeah. If you get down slightly, there we go.
Oh.
No, in fact, the next one down is even worse.
I don't think I want to go any further.
Oh no, I think you should.
No.
I think I speak for everybody when I say, fuck that guy and the horse he rode in on. So
there are two possibilities without reading the text. Either his wife has gone up 10 levels, or he has printed it.
No. It's a combo. So she made some stickers or files for it, and then he printed them out and stuck them onto his building and then cut through his building. The brickwork later on. Oh, what a terrible bastard. We will get to that.
This is the state of play most games I play on are.
Yeah,
plain
brown.
wood.
Shades of brown. Yeah, if anybody asks, then...
Special hobby is 50 Shades of Brown.
50, yeah. You don't come into the red room with the hobby. Come into the room of... I always just say I work in 3 mediums. Black, white, and bare metal. Something similar here. Fucking 2 primers. Anyway.
So he's using Inkscape to make himself a stencil.
Yeah, he's used to make his...
He's using a paint program to make shapes for a stencil.
Then laser cut it out, and then set it down on top of his plain, dull building that he laser cut out of magical wood, and then spatulaed his shit over the top. Pull it away. Brickwork! Huh? What? With grouchy lines and everything? Motherfucker. Huh?
Well, I think we can tell him how to even get it more efficiently done.
Oh, I can tell him. Hang on. Let me just bear with me.
Oh.
What you do is you wait until Anarchy Stencils come over to the studio, and then they just leave this, Blinky. I didn't have to program this or any shit. They just left that and I took it. Fuck you.
Well, even one step further, you apply the spackle and you press the stencil on. You don't push the...
Oh, no. I think he's right there. Pull it up. Because if you press it in, you're going to end up with squirtage in places. I think. I will say...
Well, you use
lifting it out is better.
A roller pin to get it flat, and then scrape the excess from the top, and then put it get it off. Might work. I'm just theorizing.
Let me know how that works for you. Yeah.
Well, but first,
Sláinte.
That went better. Yes, we need to accelerate. This is the I opted for going only 2 because I know
Right.
chat would have said go for more, but I know then I wouldn't get out of bed tomorrow.
That's chat for you. You can ignore them. They're mostly terrible bastards with nothing to do with their time.
So Blinky, you are doing the Lord's work again.
He is. And, you know, to be fair, I will download the app for my phone like I'm supposed to this week. Apparently I have to delete quite a lot of shit off my phone to download your app. My phone is not at home to apps.
Well, who needs apps anyway?
Well, we do if we're going to play test his appy-based game.
That's all right.
Shh,
Dinsdale! Dinsdale! So, where did Crazy Redcoat go this time?
I don't know. I wasn't here last week, so I'm not sure where you got to.
I don't think we went with him last week.
Although, to be fair, I did watch last week's show, so I do know where you got to. So,
But I don't think we had Dinsdale.
No, we didn't. We didn't. So there's
So he has...
the umbers are complete.
Yes.
You may remember them from the massive giant breaking his chains on the banner that we couldn't work out whether or not it was painted on or transferred and turned out to be just printed or sculpted into the standard. But there are other umbers, including one who looks not dissimilar to somebody I know.
And that would be?
He looks not dissimilar to a fella McCabe I'm aware of, with long shaggy hair and a big beard.
Well, that is accounting for all 12 of them.
Big family, mate.
So this is what a family reunion on your side looks.
Actually, not a million miles away from that. Yeah. It's an awful lot like that. But yeah, it's nice just to see. I mean, obviously the basic unit, we've kind of had an idea of how that was going to go before anyway. And he's just gone in there and finished it off to a decent extent, and then did the cheeky umber. There he is. Look at him.
It looks really nice when you have all these painted images in one place, being a unit.
Yeah, it's a nice look. And it's very striking. Having the it's one thing that Game of Thrones lost with their Everything Must Be Grimdark TV series. You lost the punchy colours. I mean, even the...
Don't forget the titties. They had the titties.
They did have the titties. Titties went down over time. The plot increased as titties reduced.
But plot is equal to titties.
Well, I don't know.
At least in animes.
Later on, in Series 8, there wasn't anywhere near enough plot/titties to discuss. Plenty of random gingers included in my family, yes. But if you remember seeing those, certainly from like Series 7 and 8, when you had tiny lady Amber Hulk Stark and stuff kicking around, and every fucker is in black. So much so that you didn't know whether you were looking at a member of the Night's Watch or a house. And having some striking family colours would have been really nice, just so you could work out what was going on.
It makes you think if they have kept the actual books from the set designers.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, as far as I can understand, the set designers are mostly working along the lines of white and green for Starbucks, and where they could include that on set. They weren't too worried about what people were wearing.
That one cup, and that ruins a complete...
Yeah. I think in many respects, they really focused on that cup. Oh, everybody talks about the cup. Going, no, we were all talking about the storyline that you fucked first. If the story hadn't been shit, we wouldn't have focused on the cup.
That's the thing.
Yeah. It's nice.
Well, Crazy Redcoat, very nicely done. You sort of a bastard.
Yes, terrible cunt.
Oi, nutter!
See you next Tuesday. Ha! Because we do this on a Tuesday.
And next up, I think I have seen that guy. I think he's streaming at the moment right now as well.
He is. I felt it best to include this now so we can all get our digs in. So Ben, he decided he was going to do some sort of ethereal badger skeleton thing. Who the fuck knows what's going on there?
Well, maybe it's what's it called? The Ghost Rider variant of Burrows and Badgers.
Could be certainly. I'd like to start the bidding with he hasn't done any object source lighting.
And he has blood on his sword. Impossible.
Yeah, there's red on his sword. You know, let's not be too helpful here. You know, he's choosing the stream right now. Fuck him, he deserves what he gets.
Well, that's a jump.
Yep.
I yesterday or the day before when I saw him painting the green. I think that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
No, the day before yesterday we had our D&D Cthulhu. Wow, I'm lost.
Cock.
pick me up.
World War II cock. There I am trying to stave off the Nazi threat despite being surrounded by 3 Nazis.
And you still don't
German
want to
Nazi,
give me my
Danish
ammunition.
Nazi, Irish Nazi, all Axis powers.
Tuffy,
I learned that from Archer.
Tuffy, what makes you say Ben's a furry? Just because he has some beard growing?
I imagine it's a whole sideline of photos that I don't want to be involved in. Anyway, let's get back to the fact he hasn't done object source lighting.
Nope,
and his blood doesn't drip off his sword. You know,
well,
this is the worst thing ever.
Well,
people who missed out on golden buttons, you should really get your digs in now.
Tear him apart!
Fucking flies.
You should get yourself a cat or a frog.
Frogs would be good. Cat, not so much. It's too small. Just end up this time clawing me. I'm trying to work out what type of tiny furry badger ethereal it is. Is it supposed to be some sort of rat type thing? It's got like a
slave badger, it says.
Slave
badger.
Slave badger.
And he's summoning his brother.
Bronze armor's not bad.
No.
See,
he can paint if he wants. He really can. That bastard.
He can. Has he pushed the highlights to silver, or is that just the photography?
I think that's just the photography.
I think if you actually did that in real life, it would just set it off nicely. I have issues with bronze armor. Not bronze armor per se, but I often see people painting. There's a guy, Rivendell Tactics, he's a big 40k fan, who's painting up a Spartan at the moment, and he's weathering the helmet. He's wearing a Corinth helm,
which is bronze,
it's bronze, so he's weathering it with green for that bronze oxide look to it. And the issue I have is warriors wouldn't have allowed these fucking things to settle for so long that you would see oxidization on them. I would much rather see shiny bronze with maybe dirt or blood on it than actually
scratches
corroded.
and dents.
Yeah, corrosion on working armor doesn't work for me.
Unless it's an undead.
Undead is different because they're not going to be obviously taking care of their kit.
There's no officer.
So this is quite nice. I mean, the bronze is quite nice, but I just want to. You can see where the lights kicked in, and this is probably a good tip for people who are doing metallics, and if they want it, take a picture with a flash on, and then take a look at the picture with the flash and at your model, and you will see where your highlights should be. So I mean, can you show us the back of the bunny? I think it's the second picture down.
Yes, I can. Here it is.
Thank you. So you can see there the massively high highlight on the left elbow pad and on the right pauldrons. So you're just seeing those lines. So taking a picture with a flash on, you can do it when you prime the model. It will show you the same effect that you want to have in your final finish. But even if you put the first layer of metallics on, that little bit of reflection will really pop it. So if you're not looking to have dead weathered armor, take a photograph with a flash and then use that to get your highlights. It's a really easy way of doing it because you can just add them very simply, like a glaze essentially, to show you exactly where they're going to go, and it just adds to your miniature. I will also say there is a paint called Smoke, which is probably fucking hidden in my drawer right now. Smoke. It's a Vallejo color, and it's a semi-transparent. No, I'm not going to be able to find it because Jesus doesn't love me. Oh, there we are there. So Smoke, it is 70939. This little beauty, which is a dark brown, like a chocolate brown with a slight red tint in it, but is transparent rather than opaque when you mix it. If you're ever looking to do any line work, it works very well. You mix it with your base color and then do dark lining. So if, for example, if I was working on Ben's badger armor or whatever the fuck that is, some sort of long-eared badger or rabbit, some people may call it, fuck them. Anyway, mix Smoke with it and then use that to draw your lines around the armored panels in a thin amount, and you get a translucency that you wouldn't get with normal paint, but also it has more pigment than you get with inks. Smoke is God's gift to gaming, as far as doing line work and shades. Even if you don't use Vallejo normally, if you use Games Workshop or Privateer Press or whatever it happens to be, I would suggest picking up Smoke. I have about 5 bottles of this in the house because I don't like to run out. That is the way to go. Anyway, long-eared badgers, they are terrible bastards like that. So yes, metallics, they're nice, they're good.
So to sum up, Ben, you need to do object source lighting on that green fellow.
He needs to up the highlight on his armor, he needs to do line work on the armor, and he needs to do object source lighting. Quite frankly, I'm fucking ashamed that he's put this up there for people to see. What a cunt. How he deems himself worthy to give out golden buttons when he's not even doing that. What a shame.
Yes, and for that we shall award him a golden button on Christmas Day. Some upside down turned trophy. Next is Carlos Spector.
From Hell. I'm not just picking this because I'm a huge fan of From Hell, the Johnny Depp film, obviously, which is the best film in the world ever. Where he does a Cockney accent. Chimney, Mary Parpins.
I don't... the name rings a bell, but I can't remember the plot.
From Hell is a comic by Alan Moore about the Jack the Ripper murders that Johnny Depp appeared in a film adaptation. It was one of the ones that Alan Moore went, take my fucking name off these things. Stop making this shit, you fuckers. Anyway.
Wasn't it where he was a rather shy guy? And
it's impossible to tell what was going on in that fucking film. It was diabolical. I've watched it a few times and I still can't work it out. But this is a theoretically 40k-ish steampunk bit of terrain by Carlos.
By counting the number of skulls he has in that base, it's definitely 40k.
Well, this is a Age of Sigmar type thing anyway. But he's not just using it for GWisms, he's also using it for Twisted, which I got a bundle of Twisted recently. So I'll be doing some unboxings and a sort of review of that game. Hopefully next week, actually. Well, I'll be doing the review next week. The unboxings will come out whenever I find an editor to edit them for me.
And here we have the patina we spoke of just before.
Yes. It looks great. I have to say that is spanking. It's not overly done. It looks like a recent bronze statue because, clearly there are statues out there that have been sitting for a couple of 100 years that are practically all blue-green. And you can't see the bronze at all anymore. So this is a recent.
You know what really would pop on this thing? Most
LEDs.
No, much more subtle and realistic at that point, because most bronze statues have some polished point where some people are always rubbing their hands on. So there's
People touch it. So
Yes.
the skull at the bottom.
so
or the
big-breasted ladies always have shiny boobs. People with
Yes.
long noses always have shiny noses. And on this model, I would say maybe
the
the lower
hourglass.
skull would have been polished by people getting there and just touching it to have some sort of blessing. So maybe the skull should be a bright bronze, just as a highlight.
Yeah, but I really push the highlight on them. That is true. That would be nice.
I wouldn't know
Maybe-
how to do
maybe
it,
I'll
but
do it.
I think it would look cool.
Silver. Silver is your answer. Add silver to the base bronze and just really push the highlights. It's not a major issue.
He's done a lot of terrain here.
Yeah, been slapping away at it quite happily for reasons best known to himself. Presumably wants to play with terrain.
Oh look, he has found a brush that is even more silly than the normal makeup brush.
Pound shop brushes are great, plus sparkles. I don't think any of us could argue with that. I mean, you could try and argue with that,
Nope, no argument here.
but it's sparkles.
Maybe an argument if he would have found one with pink sparkles.
Look, he's found a smoke from the craft store.
Oh no?
Potentially not as nice as my smoke because his smoke appears to be grey, not brown. Well, hey ho.
Well, it works on his stonework.
It does. It's really nice stonework. I would hit that with pigments to throw some other colours in there so it's not as flat, but that's me. I'm like that. But it's done really nice blending work as well. I mean, look at the blending work on those fucking jars and amphora for a bit of damaged terrain. What a fuck. What the fuck?
Why do people make us feel so bad?
I don't know. Because they touch themselves at night.
Oh, do people do that?
I do.
Okay.
Don't know about other people.
Well, and this is the title picture we have seen more earlier.
Yeah.
It's not GW, is it?
The most honourable guild of etheric cosmology. I don't know who it comes from. Presumably, it has enough weirdness on it. It could be fucking GW, but presumably this is some of the stuff he's using for Twisted, which is a
Azerite runes.
Dickensian Chimney Mary Parpin's steampunk type of game, so it's sort of Victoriana.
With posters. Lots of them.
Lots of posters. And the posters themselves, I think, place it more than anything else. So, if this is a GW steam coggy punky thing, it doesn't look like it because of it is, because look at all the twin-tailed comets of Sigmar, despite the fact Sigmar doesn't exist anymore. But the posters on the brickwork
Genius.
pull it into a more steampunk setting. I didn't realise how many cogs there were on there. Why the fuck have GW put steampunk cogs on their buildings?
I think he had put... I would say he has put them on.
No, I don't think he has.
Well, they
But
stick
who-
out a lot.
But who fucking knows, to be brutally honest. I must go hunting and see if I can find pictures of whatever this is from prior to painting. Because those cogs and the posters on the brickwork, I know the brickwork are in there because somebody, Daniel is using them for background for his Basilean Kings of War men at arms. So I've seen them painted up in just stark sort of bone relief, and you have the stonework with the brickwork. So that is part and parcel of the miniature. The cogs don't look like they should be there, but those cogs look intrinsic. They don't look like they're out of place. Which means if he has added them, he's done a fucking sterling job.
He has.
In blending them in, and if they are there already, then I have to wonder what GW are up to, because none of their shit is steampunk. despite their fucking space squats.
Dwarf.
In Age of Sigmar. Space squats. They're not fucking dwarves anymore. They've got fucking metal zeppelins that they used to float with. What the fuck is going on with that? Anyway, I digress.
What? Age of Sigmar has Led Zeppelin?
Yeah, definitely. Bronze Zeppelin, Copper Zeppelin. Why not have a Led Zeppelin as well? It's really nice.
Well, that gives me an idea for a miniatures game. All factions are based on hard rock, heavy metal bands. Fight.
Yeah, that works. I have no problem with that.
Loosely based on what was that video game called? Brutal Legend.
Oh yes, get out the axe.
That would be a very fun game.
That would certainly work for me.
And finally would have some use for all those pseudo space marines with guitars and basses.
Break out the amps. I seen you talking about Lemmy's.
Yes, if he doesn't call the amplifier Murder One, I'm going on a rampage.
Yep. you do that. I have the undead Lemmy playing the bass.
Oh, great!
in that box behind me there, from Die Hard Miniatures.
It's some years now that he's gone, and I still miss that fucker.
He was a delightful fella. Yeah, he was such a contradiction as well. A man with such a large collection of Nazi memorabilia, and then he would get a letter from a young black fella who goes, "I'm really into your music, but everybody else says I should be into hip hop." And then Lemmy sitting down and calmly explaining why, you do you, son, and all the rest. And you're going, this makes no sense. You should be, king of the white supremacists, but you're not. You're just
no, because he always only collected that stuff because he said it looked cool.
That's got a point.
And he has been on record saying "fuck Nazis," so I tend to believe that he honestly didn't give a fuck about politics.
No.
If you're a cunt, you're a cunt, no matter what color, race, income class, profession,
or member of Hawkwind you may be.
Yes, Dutch. Jack Black was the voice actor on Brutal Legend. And the best thing was the complete.
I had forgotten that.
The complete soundtrack was original, and Lemmy, Lita Ford, Ozzy Osbourne, and what's his name?
Teddy Westside.
No, I was more thinking about Judas Priest, Rob Halford.
Oh yes, Rob.
All were in there, and when that game came out in the 360 back in the day, I was still doing metal DJ in a local pub, so I had a Brutal Legends release party, unofficial, but all the sounds. It was hilarious. I had fun.
Why would you not?
The game was okay. The beginning was great, but the music was the best thing of everything that was video game at that point for me. So, shall we go on before I'm getting totally wasted?
Yes, let's do that.
Hobby 2020 at Innis by Innis, and he's doing Keyforge?
Yeah, sure. I've no idea what Keyforge is.
It's a card
game.
But
if you scroll past that, you'll find real things.
I'm a bit irritated because he says Seal Tech Tourney at Highlander Games. Highlander Games is a game store in Bremen. That's 50 kilometers east of here. So I'm not saying he's from there, is he?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You keep talking. If that fucking fly comes past me again, he's getting hit.
Murder live on cam. Did you get hit?
Maybe.
Tension rises.
We'll find out in a minute.
Well, I don't think he's from Germany because he's over at Edinburgh for some gaming, so there must be another local game store in your neck of the woods called Highlander Games, which isn't that surprising.
Oh, that's very dull. No, I didn't get it.
You need a lighter and some hairspray.
I've got hairspray to do chipping on.
Well, all you need then is a lighter.
But there's a big fuck-off spider that's been spinning a web on that stand of paints last week. I was like, I'm letting you make a big fuck-off web, because obviously I'm too lazy to clean that. But why are you not killing the flies that are annoying me?
Because the flies are too lazy to land in her net. Simple math.
Son of a fuck. Anyway.
So he's doing 15mm medieval...
He's doing a lot of shit.
Knights of something?
So
Templars?
They're Crusaders. 3D base, 15mm on a 25mm round. I'm having flashbacks to my own 15mm Crusaders mounted on 40mm bases and 25mm rounds. So he's doing Templars. I don't want to take credit for what he's done here because, you know, that would be terrible. But I am going to take credit for what he's done there. So well done me for giving them that idea to do this. Because he's done really nicely. I'm not sure where they're from because he is saying, oh, they're museum miniatures. Okay, so he does blame me for that, so that's all right. I didn't get mine from museum. I got mine from Legio Heroica from Giuseppe in Italy. But they're nice nonetheless. They are... those Templar Knights are slightly later period than mine because they're rocking great helms. So about 100 years difference.
Let's play a game,
quite
chat.
nice.
Find all the miniatures on this picture. I really have to look multiple times. This gaming piece...
If you're big in it, it's helpfuler.
This gaming piece doesn't lend itself to finding miniatures.
I will say, if he painted them, because those are 28mm miniatures, it's not like you're trying to find 15mm.
No, but
they're being
painted.
fucking hidden. They're not painted. Scroll up, scroll the fuck up,
Those?
stop. Those are 28mm dwarves.
Yes.
Now, they're primed, or sorry, not even primed grey, so they're grey on black. So the fact that he hasn't bothered doing the dwarves yet is the fact you can't find them.
The one that
they
just
do
passed
look
me
like
by
they're-
was these
Kings
dudes
of
on
War.
the lower left side, which are hidden behind trees.
Yeah, but you know, they're elves. That's definitely 50mm. Those are 20mm.
And those dwarves
And those
are carrying supplies.
He is playing Kings of War. Hang on. What's he said about this? I had one of those castles from GW. In fact, I had two of those castles from GW, and my friend fucked them and then pissed off to Sligo. The cunt.
Loot scenario.
Game of Kings of War. Oh, he's playing loot. Oh, nice. Really close game. Lost in turn 7. Shame. Although I will say, if you've lost in turn 7, you weren't playing particularly well, because the game shouldn't reach turn 7. Just saying.
Well, I think
You're
we
bad, and you should feel bad.
I think we have seen those minis somewhere before, even though painted by some.
Oh, pity I can't.
Yes.
Yeah. They're Warlords plastics. He's even got the Druid Getafix. That fly is really starting to piss me off.
Oh,
Only
there
I
it
don't
is.
want to set fire to my house. I would indeed set fire to it.
Well, you could try the hairspray without the fire.
No. That makes no sense. Oh, he's gone very Macedonian there, hasn't he?
I'd say.
Yeah. I quite like that white and green look. It's very spiffy. Very Italian. Red, white and green.
Next thing you know, somebody is throwing large rocks with a small dog attached.
Yeah. He won a golden button. What did he get a golden button for? I didn't give him a golden button.
Did he?
Got it for his Templars, apparently.
Oh.
You won't be getting one for this, Dennis. Just, you know, letting you down gently now. Just saying. Fuck off, fly.
Multi-bases.
Multi-pass. Yeah, oh yeah, if you go far enough back, he goes into Dread and all sorts of stuff. It's like looking at what I'm planning on painting for the last year, because it goes Dread, and then some Kings of War, and then some Clash of Spears. And,
I think if I ever again complain about having no space to paint, I just need to look at this picture.
Oh yeah, feel free. If you want, I'll send you a picture of my room when I'm not fucking tidy.
No. You don't
That would
count.
make
You
you
have a
cry.
complete house to store your stuff.
Yeah, it's mostly just crammed into corners.
Yes, but it's a house. I have a room at most. And he only seems to have a desk. Though he is organized.
I will say,
I give that.
yeah, he did do a really nice Templar command stand on my birthday. Maybe I will give you another golden button.
You know
I haven't
what?
decided.
What would really look nice on this cabinet? The comics the other dude did.
Oh yes, all the decoupage, just doing layers of tiny fighting men stuff.
And maybe use front pages from the White Dwarf. No, that's no. Don't do that.
You sure? I've got like 300 of them there.
Well, you could use those who have been vomited about.
No, they went in the bin.
Oh, shame.
Once mushrooms are growing on your white dwarves, they're beyond rescue.
It's a genuine white dwarf with mushrooms.
Fuck me. Annoyingly, I don't have White Dwarf 100 anymore. I still have the Flexi Disc because it wasn't in the White Dwarf pile. It was on my fucking record player. But White Dwarf 100's gone. I still have Blood for the Blood God Flexi Disc. That's fine. But the fucker was vomited to death. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Colin, fuck you. You fucking fuck. You know who you are. Can't.
That wouldn't be half so bad as if it hadn't been hidden, if I have understood you correctly.
Yes, yeah. If my brother and friend hadn't hid it from me for months, I may have rescued 50 fucking white dwarves.
Yeah.
In the words of someone from the Preacher comic, shit-stubbing bastard Saddam Hopper dicks you all.
Next up, The Lost Battalion by Blipvertus. So this
what have I put in? Oh, I've put in something different. That's not that.
Did you?
I've fucking no idea where I am. Did I forget to copy him across? Oh, I must
No,
have
it's
forgot to
correct.
Copy him across.
It's correct.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. It's the same
well
number.
done, me. Oh, I did. Oh, that's all right then. Okay.
So this is Blood and Valor?
Blood and or Valor discuss.
Using GW's terrain.
Well, you can't have
Part of.
everything. They did just to make nice terrain. They don't do any of this anymore because it was too cheap and nice and worked.
Speaking of too cheap, you know the magazine they are doing this Conquest thing? Where you get stuff.
I thought they'd finished it.
Yeah, Germany is a bit behind on that. We are on
okay.
issue 23 or something.
Okay.
So I'm getting the terrain pieces from a buddy of mine who's collecting the Space Marines, and the Chaos gets to somewhere else. And he got me my last shipment, and I sent him his money, and he said, well, there were 2 books. Were 2 issues? I only saw 1 small sprue. Yes, they've actually reprinted a 1997 terrain sprue and charge full price.
I would love to say I'm surprised
These
Games
two
Workshop
fuckers.
doing that. Hang on, is that it's the Czech hedgehogs, the barrels, and then the fucking ammo crates and the little deck?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember when you were showing off your your 40k boxes from
Way
times
back when.
past? There was one that where you're going, I'm not sure what this is, at Black Templars on the front cover. It was 3rd edition from 1998. They were the terrain sprues in it, along with 2 palm tree sprues.
Yeah, I remember the palm trees because those fuckers wouldn't stand up for life.
No, they were balls. Those came in that as well, so they're 22 years old. They've reprinted them from
the same molds, it seems, because
same molds.
It says
fuck yeah.
1997.
97. Well,
the
old didn't get released till 98, but yeah.
The only good thing about this is this sprue was also in the Gorka Morka box.
Yes.
So this goes back to the Gorka Morka box, making my set complete with original GW parts.
God bless them.
Those fucks. And I can only forgive this because every other terrain is, if you compare it to the original
don't forgive
price.
it. I like whenever they go next week. It will be one pot of fucking wash. Have you got those ones yet? If you're only on
I only get
23,
the
you're
train
quite-
pieces. I don't get anything
Alright,
else. So
you're
I'm
not getting
only paying
anything
the
else.
trains. And the train is, in all, about a third cheaper than buying the terrain.
Yeah, then buying the actual box. And
That's the only
strip it
reason
out,
why I
yeah.
was going that route, because it was cheap terrain in relative terms.
Oh, they are a shower of unholy bastards with that one, really, to be brutally honest. You know,
People are buying.
people are cats. Yeah, this is true.
So
There's nothing I can do about that. The last time I went room to room with a hammer, the police said that was illegal. So, don't know what's going on there.
So we have still that project with Blood and Valor.
Yep.
Which is a game system I had no contact with until today, I think.
Yeah, it's so Firelock Games, people may be aware of them for Pirates, Yar.
Arr.
Yar. And one of the guys who helped Mike work it out, a guy called Rufus. Rufus would do like a lot of the painting for them. Rufus has a son called Kai, and Kai is like 12 and bigger than me.
What?
He's fucking huge. He's massive. He beat Justin in a Let's Play the first time he came over for like Blood and Plunder, and Justin cried like a bitch. He was big into his World War One online shoot 'em up, pew pew pew. I don't know what it was called, Battlefield 1918 or something, shit like that. Anyway, he literally talked to his dad one day and went, "Why do we not make a game about this?" So Blood and Valor isn't a Firelock Games game where they've gone, we should really move into World War One. It's literally the son going,
I want that.
we could play this on the tabletop, and his dad going, we could. And then Kai came up with the sort of the idea behind it. So it's like a 2x2 or 3x3 skirmish game that more accurately reflects the online first-person shooter than a dyed-in-the-wool simulation of World War One. So it's interesting in that respect. It plays quite interestingly because you've got the bidding mechanic who goes first and that sort of thing. He's using a lot of War Games Atlantic Germans there. I know this because I've just put together this set for an unboxing. He's managed to get the fucking machine gun to actually fit together, so well done him, because I will be complaining about that in my review because it's a fucker to put together in plastic. Metal, one piece would have went together like a fucking dream. Just saying, put it on a base, done. Fuck yes.
You mean this one?
Bitch.
With the gas mask?
Yeah. Trying to get the bipod to sit below that barrel. The water-cooled barrel is a bugger, and you can see where the strap falls. It lands midway down his arm, and for a water-cooled machine gun, that would have been a fucker to carry like that. So I haven't actually assembled one like that. I started assembling one, it didn't fit right. I ripped the arms off and threw them away, built some others, so I'm going to go back and build one and see exactly how best to build it before I do the unboxing. But yeah, so Blood and Valor, interesting little World War One game. Very small, no trench works required. Trenches, they don't work here. Tanks, they don't work here, but people wind like fucks, like they often do.
Why would you want tanks in the skirmish-sized games?
Because like as Steamforge Games discovered, their fans are fuckwits. And likewise here, where they went, this is a World War One game that's a skirmish game that doesn't want armor in it, and then they went, yeah, we want armor, but there was only like 13 fucking tanks in the entire war. We can tell you where they broke down. Well, no, we still want tanks, so they included tanks at the last minute. So there are tanks in the game. My suggestion is, if you buy it, go to that page, rip that page out, set fire to that page, and enjoy the fucking game without tanks and wind your neck in. Because if you're playing with 13 men aside and you've got a tank on the board, you're a cunt. Your family is cunts, and everybody thinks you're a cunt.
I mean, it's there's a reason why it's called a skirmish.
Yeah. Oh,
From-
fuck, without a doubt. I mean, they'd written a scenario where there was a broken down tank and went, this should be good enough for people who want a tank. If you want to put a tank in the battlefield, here's your tank. It's a fucking objective piece. And they're going, no, I want to drive a tank. No, you don't want to drive a tank.
If you want to drive a tank, you play a different game.
Impossible to kill. It'll just sit there like a fucking pillbox and everything bounces off it.
And it even won't make it across the whole block.
No, yeah, exactly. They drive forward 10 yards and then they break down. But unfortunately, companies...
The crew suffocates.
Companies have to rely on people buying their stuff, and telling people to fuck off is a good way of getting people not to buy your stuff. However, I don't work for that company, and I'll just say it for them. Fuck off. It's a fucking World War I tank. Fuck off. It's a 3-foot skirmish game. Fuck off. No trenches, no tanks.
Even
wind your neck in.
Just by looking at the gaming board, imagining a realistically sized World War I tank would take up a quarter of the gaming table. Why?
Oh, it's fucking annoying. I mean, I think Rufus pointed out before they included tanks because people were whining like broken bitches. The game itself is designed for like 20 to 30 miniatures aside, and the German tank had a crew complement of like 23 people. They crammed people in there like fuck. Literally, whoever could fit in a tank would be the entire force for one side. They should have just stuck by their guns and just told people to fuck off. Just go, look, don't wear a mask, go and buy your groceries, and hopefully you'll be dead by fucking Monday. We'll not have to worry about it, but
Well, with that nice thought in our head, we jump on to the next project. Which
I still hate you. Anybody who contacted Rufus and Kai and said you need a tank in this game, I hate you. I fucking hate you. Oh, I'm not even joking. You're a dick.
Joe Rugby.
How can you fucking sleep at night?
Week 24, and he has done some lovely aliens.
Yeah, they have off-table artillery, Toros. It's really good because you have to pay for it and you get one shot.
How large is the template you're using?
But there's no template.
Oh, okay.
If you manage to hit, you will do a lot of damage. But if you miss, it's fucking wasted, and it's costing you like as much as most of your army is. You're going, I'm giving up half my force to have some off-board artillery hopefully land on you. Be lucky.
Well, that's...
Which is exactly such a fucking World War One. And you don't have to buy one. You could buy like 2 or 3. I think you can buy multiple. You can go, I'm going to take like a 3-to-1 kicking on the board here, and hopefully my artillery will come in, and hopefully it will hit you, and hopefully it will fuck you up. And if it doesn't, then shit.
Well, but that would at least be a realistic World War I scenario.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Speaking of somebody whose grandfather was an artilleryman in the British Army in World War One, yeah, very much so. He was 3 to 4 fucking miles behind the front line, which is why he came home. Well done, Grandad. But yeah. So anyway,
Alien Scarabs.
Aliens. He's gone for a unusual Necron feel.
Yeah, and I like his conversion work on his Doom Scythe.
I like this. This gives me a Battlestar Galactica feel.
Yes.
Where they went, you don't need a pilot. The ship is the pilot. So why have a pilot? Just make the whole thing a fucking robot. Put a canopy on it, give it a little red light, go whoom whoom like Kit, and send it off.
If they just would have stayed at robot and not gone the way of living organism pretending to be a machine.
No, it's not a trench raid game, Crazy. I played with them. They did a... Sorry, I'm very, very briefly, just before we move on from this, don't throw things at me. They initially showcased it with a trench board, simply because if you say to people World War One and show them a trench board, they know where you're at. Out of the 11 scenarios or 12 scenarios they initially envisaged, There was one trench one, which was like a battle in no man's land, and nothing else was trench based because they didn't want the whole point of standing in a trench and firing at somebody on the other side of the board in another trench was as dull as fuck. They didn't want to do that, so they went, okay, well, this is our. Here is World War One. It's a trench, and now after that, go nuts with all the other spheres.
Here is a little French
fighting.
town defended by some Germans.
Here's Palestine. Here's Gallipoli. Here's Turkey. Here's Russia before Russia becomes the Soviet Union. You know, there's an awful lot of fighting that wasn't trench based in World War One, but people get the idea because of
Movies.
essentially movies and media. That it was, 1914. Everybody started digging trenches, and in 1918 they all went home again, and in
don't
between
forget,
there was nothing else.
On Christmas they played football.
On Christmas played the Christmas football one is my favourite because they played football and a lot of German officers wandered across to the Allied lines and started making notice of the defensive positions until they were told to stop playing football, get back in the trenches and stop letting the Germans go bunker, machine gun. Anyway, I digress. It's like the Boy Scouts in World War II, but Blood and Valor is not a trench-based game. Blood and Valor is a World War One skirmish game. If you want to put a trench in it, go nuts. It is not what they were aiming for. There are trench raiders as a unit you can buy in. Essentially, people armed with grenades and SMGs or pistols, that type of thing. But they're really aiming not to do trench warfare because it's a dull as fuck way to portray the First World War. So yes, that's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Also, people who made them include tanks are cunts.
Well, let me just...
Thank you, Donkey.
So I almost forgot. This was by Joe Rugby, and he's doing a multiple of things.
Yeah,
a weird
this is
crossover
Joe
on all.
doing his best to build shit and paint shit. Joe has been. We've looked at him before. He's got a golden button before, actually, because of what we've said. Because your call is what we base golden buttons on there, Tim. In case you hadn't realised.
Well, then explain how last week's golden button came to pass, because there was a thing only
I
one
wasn't about, you weren't about, so I'm assuming Ben went off book. But Joe has a cunning plan, and the cunning plan is he has a table, and the table goes, if I paint something, it's worth 3 points. If I complete something, it's worth like 9 points. If I want to buy a new miniature, then I need to have like 100 points. Therefore, I must have built, painted, and based, and blah blah.
That's why he's on a negative points, because he got himself the dreaded Indomitus box.
He bought himself Indomitus and a croissant, which I assume cost him more points than anything else. So he's been working through this, but it's a good way of going. You know, essentially it's risk reward, so to speak. Where he goes, if I want this, then I need to have painted this, and this. So yeah,
he's definitely onto something with that. Maybe we should ask Tom to implement something like that into the project system. So for every completed project, you get points.
Yeah, or we could just ask him to delete Joe's entire project here, and therefore the rest of us wouldn't have to feel bad.
Whoops! All your progress is gone.
Yeah. Oh, 24 weeks, Joe. You say 24. Yeah. You won't be so fucking cocky next time, Joe. Knuckle down, just buy your shit like the rest of us and leave it in the corner to rot. Just saying.
Well, wandering off to Denzian's Siege of Vrax.
Siege Underwear Vrax discuss.
So these are miniatures I seem to recall seeing a long time ago. On the pages of GW, or are these from a different manufacturer?
These are Forge World.
Well, same, but different.
GW they did a set of metal Deathcore of Krieg once, just infantry. No, No clever artillery, no super command, and no Rough
cavalry.
Riders. And then they went, you know what, we're not going to do. Oh, Jesus. Oh, holy shit. Sorry, you've just got it there. See the Grenadiers entry there?
Yes.
See for skill, do not hit skill on that one, because look at the fucking barrel.
I was just about to say,
Run a hairdryer over that.
Whatever happened to that one?
I'm just saying.
It's a secret weapon.
Look,
it shoots
this.
around the corner.
Do this. Hot air. This. Denzian, do that. Straighten it. Sorry. I'm not sorry, because Jesus, fuck the banana on that. It's got a curve on it like my cock. For fuck's sake. Anyway. Battle damage my arse. Easy, Tim. Easy. Calm down, son. Calm down. You fire that off, you're
if that would be battle damage, it should have been like in the comics when it blooms in every direction.
Oh, it really will. You'll end up with a face on you like you've just lit a cigar that's exploded. It'll just be all fucking black with big white eyes. Oh. Anyway,
well,
if it had not been...
I can see a point there, and since this entry is 2 fucking years old, I won't be hitting any buttons on that at all.
No. Yeah, you know. But
the whole project seems to be rather old.
It is, but I like the Deathcore of Krieg.
That's, to be honest, that's one of the designs I thought GW did that are actually quite nice, because they are believably grimdark and similarly have a very distinct World War I feeling to them.
Yeah.
I like them very much.
They have a feel about...
Just look at this officer with a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who has ever served some time in the military and has worn that goddamn gas mask knows what fuck feeling that is.
It has a certain je ne sais quoi, as they say in
Clutch.
Greater Berlin, or Paris, as they call it.
It's clutch.
But what I will say is, the reason I had a look at this, because it was quite nice setup. It's a lovely army. It's a fucking expensive army to do. But a few people on Tinterwebs recently have been doing this at dirt cheap money.
How so?
Wargames Atlantic, who do the World War I Germans I was looking at, they've got multiple heads. They've got they come with the pickle helm, the field cap, and then the Stahl helm with or without gas mask. And then somebody went, well, what if we just put them on the sci-fi French, the Le Grognards that they've been doing?
Oh, yes.
And they look fucking amazing as Deathcore of Krieg. I think even Pete the Wargamer copied somebody recently and did a video on it. I would like to point out, Pete the Wargamer did not come up with that. A couple of guys on the Wargames Atlantic Legionnaire Facebook page came up with it, and Pete copied them. But if you want to make Deathcore of Krieg, get the Grognards with the long coats, and then go online and see if you can find people who have got the German helms that they don't need. Because I've seen even some people cutting. They've gone. They don't look sci-fi enough with the World War I helms on and gas masks. But if you look at these, they just have that one connecting pipe. So rather than one guy cut the head away, so they had the World War I German helmet and then put the sci-fi gas mask with the 2 respirators on it. Don't. Just cut the gas mask off the end of the Stahlhelm. Where are we? You're probably not going to be able to see this, but I'll grab them anyway. So, yeah, okay, so I'm blind as a bat. But cut the little canister off and then run guitar wire from there to the gas or to the backpack on the sci-fi trooper, and you've got fucking perfect deathcore. And you're picking them up. I think it's 30 in a box for the Le Grognards for £25.
I can
compared to GW.
I can totally see someone sitting in his chair, looking at his minis, thinking, Well, those almost look like Deathwatch. Looking over to the other part of his table, seeing there are some heads that look like Deathwatch. Heads, bodies, bodies, heads.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that these come with so many different heads, if you just ignore the gas mask heads for the World War One troopers, you can quite happily build a set of World War One troopers and not lose a single head. You're not even going, I can't build these anymore if I build Death Corps. You can go, I'll quite happily build these as Death Corps and then these as World War One, or hit the bazaar or hit the flea bay or interwebs, because everybody who buys the World War One has a 1 in 4 chance of using the gas masks, so the other 75% aren't using them, which means they're free.
The biggest question remains: is Death Corps of Krieg still a army you can play in 9th edition?
Yes, because Death Corps hasn't really been an army since they did the Armageddon mini codex for 6th. So they are just a generic Imperial Guard army. So those are just generic Imperial Guard with Rough Riders. They have no special rules beyond any other Imperial Guard regiment. They just look different. So you can just run them if you want to run a Death Corps army, and fuck it, I would, because they look great. Go just get a big bass guitar.
It's one of the few armies in the GW 40k range that definitely has some real nice, genuine design to it that is totally unique to them. And if you see those guys, you know what they are.
Yeah.
If you see Space Marines, you see some
Canadian Legion of Fuck or whatever it happens to be. Yeah, they have a backstory. They have a history and a very defined look that sets them apart from 20 other Imperial Guard armies that you will see.
It's like a Gaunt's Ghost version on army scale. Gaunt's Ghost would be a nice thing for some skirmish, I think, with a few character models. Hello, Denzin.
To try and explain himself. I can't remember why we were telling you were a terrible bastard, but I'm fairly certain it was
because of your terrible gun.
All right, that'll be it then. Oh yes, it was your gun.
That terrible gun.
Oh man, you never hit it with a hairdryer. Oh well, shame. It's gone now.
Well,
dead to us.
Then you have to hit yourself with a hairdryer.
Yeah. What I will do though is next time we're going to give out a golden button, I'll have one of yours removed, Denzi. Maybe, I don't know. You keep putting up Rogue's Drift stuff, which saves you. I will say that. But that was a lovely army, and I think anybody who's looking to do this and do it on the cheap can do it on the cheap now via the medium of plastics, which aren't as good as metals, but they are available now.
Next up,
yeah.
Frostgrave.
Yeah, I noticed you're putting the links up again.
Yes.
You hate me and want me to suffer or something?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. No, that's fine. Oh, it's... wow. We can stop early if you want. I've just realised what time it is.
What? No.
You really should have... I derails us so badly. I mean, we had this all planned to finish
5 projects left. I still have 1 sip of beer left, I think. I hope.
I have 1 whiskey left.
Well, what?
I've no whiskey left.
Toros, what do you mean with KN?
Reminds me of the very original Warzone. Yes, Warzone with a World War One feel is great. Then they're all dead now. Sorry, I'm just saying Crazy Redcoat's Crumloaf.
Yeah, it's a nice wordplay, and actually, it's accurate.
Yeah, no, it's a real weapon from World War II for shooting over the tops of trenches without having to stick your head out and get shot in the face. Yeah.
No, Thomas, I've always been like this. Don't.
A tank with Crumloaf.
Why should I be different?
I will say this: he wouldn't have won that 40k stuff because the first person I picked hadn't subscribed to the channel. And this is not unusual. And after I've had to count through 150 plus individual fucking comments on YouTube and discover the cunt hasn't subscribed and then had to hit random.org again, I'm not a happy bunny. I'm just saying that. And nearly not a week goes by where the first person, or sometimes even the second or third person, hasn't subscribed to the channel and doesn't win. And fuck them, because they make me count. And YouTube doesn't make it easy for me to count. There were 865 comments. No, 863 comments on that cunt video that I had to count through.
Aren't there any software or websites that do that for you, picking a comment?
I have no idea. No. Is there?
Yeah, there is.
I go to random.org and then I count. I set to newest first and then go to the start and count.
I have to look up, but there is a software tool where you put in your video URL,
right,
and then you hit pick random, and then he picks one random comment out of that video.
It's not how I do it, because I'm not that clever. I go random.org and go, there are 863 comments, and then it goes 759. I go, fuck you.
1, 2, 3. Oh god.
And before the last fucking YouTube update, if you scrolled, it would hit a point, it would go load more.
Yeah.
That load more came at 20. So if I needed to go 100 back, I would go
God.
5 times. They removed that, and now it auto updates. So now I have to count each individual fucking comment.
Comment picker.
Fuck all of you
who
aren't commenting.
I
when
think
you're
this
subscribed.
is what I was referring to. Yeah. YouTube random comment picker. Jerry,
well, fuck you for not telling me that. Send me your fucking toys back. You can't. You didn't send me that. Huh? You didn't fucking tell me that existed.
Did I know that you
number
are picking that?
Well, I can fucking tell you. You were number 62 at the second time of asking. Fuckstick McQuack. After I'd picked from 6 fucking videos and fucknuts number 1 hadn't fucking subscribed to the channel.
Well,
comment here below. I'm commenting. Why are you commenting when you haven't subscribed?
Because people don't listen and people are cunts.
Guts.
Well,
this is why I touch myself at night.
We have a Frostgrave project to look at.
Yes, Frostgrave project. Oh, yes.
Discovering black scorpion miniatures. So I reckon this is a manufacturer of sorts.
They are a manufacturer of something. Discuss. I think on the weekend there a few weeks ago. That may or may not have been my result. I'm not. I can't be held to account.
Indie of the week.
They were an indie of the week.
Or as Warren puts it, Indie of the week. I could have gone louder, but then I probably would got hitten by my wife.
That's one way of doing it. But these are not cowboy peoples. These are crazy peoples looking like medieval types for Frostgrave. This is a weird one because it's been sitting on my radar for a little while, but it was just the solo captain painted.
I like.
So I was waiting for more.
I like this female sword slayer that is just gently wiping off all the goo of the sword. That's actually modelled onto. That's great.
Sometimes you just need to clean people up. Let me just hang on. If I go in there.
Oh, that's him again. Wolf time. Don't drop it.
Too late. I've dropped it.
Oh.
This one is from GW when they did 11th edition captains, and again, he's
yellow.
Oh, he is yellow. I have no idea what way around. Oh, there we go. He is also wiping the goo with the hanky off his sword.
But the goo isn't red.
It's not, because I haven't finished painting it yet. To be fair, I only started painting this 9 years ago. So I've got the yellow and black done. Calm down, son. I mean...
Hold your horses.
Yeah. You need to give me time here when you get to the metal and then the blood. I've done the orc skin tone. So, it's not bad. I do like people wiping shit off their swords, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's a nice little project. It's short, but very nicely painted. So far, what is painted? Shall we head on to the next one?
What is painted for me? Fuck all squared, you know. Yes, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on.
Walmington-on-Sea Home Guard by Brocktree.
I will say, Dane, well done you, son. Good team.
What do you eat?
Made a couple of warbands for Fable Realms. Sorry, I just read that. Let's not discuss Fable Realms. I'm not going to discuss the £400 I've dumped on it. To be fair, I have some 3D casty things, so I'm not entirely lacking. Maybe it may appear. Who knows? Probably not. Anyway, Brocktree. Brocktree's done some work
on a project that looks like it's based on some sort of television show.
There is a TV series called Dad's Army, which was based on the British Home Guard. Dad's Army, like a Low, ran longer than the war did. And it's about the people too old or too young or too sick to serve in the war, and the home defense regiment that they would have been, like the Volksgrenadier, except this was a comedy. Now, he's done some interesting things. He has Warlord's Kriegsmarine Squad, which I also have, which is nice.
Weren't those the minis that were supposed to go onto your U-boat?
Yes.
Yeah. How's that coming along?
You know, totes. Definitely doing that. Yeah. Can I
call you back?
I'm not entirely certain. Does fire ship to Germany? Is that a thing I can do? No, shut your mouth. Anyway, let's move on from the Kriegsmarine.
Did I hit a spot?
No.
Sorry.
Not at all.
Didn't want to put any salt in any wounds.
No, that's right. No, you'll find the salt in aisle 7. You just rub away some. Anyway, he has come up with a couple of squads, a couple of forces rather, for well, he says he's doing it for Flames of War, although I will say he's not, because it's quite clearly bolt action. So
where do you get a phone booth?
Warlord Games do a resin phone booth, but that phone booth
is metal.
I think comes from War Games Foundry, along with the bike. And weirdly, when we go down a bit further, you'll hit his Home Guard miniatures, and the Home Guard miniatures, Warlord do a set, but he hasn't used them. He has used the the War Games Foundry Home Guard, which are based on the Dad's Army characters. Now, I know people are going to look at this and go, Warlords are based on Dad's Army as well. Yes, but not very well. I mean, if you squint, they kind of look like the actors, but the War Games Foundry ones are superbly sculpted. They're about 20 years older than Warlord Games, but they're perfect in every way, shape, and form. I think which is why I have them.
That's a point we had in a discussion sometime again, because the likeness of an actor is something different in regards to copyright than the likeness of a fictional figure.
Yeah, he's not using the Warlord figures, because I don't own the Warlord figures, but I do own the War Games Factory ones. And if you look at the War Games Factory, War Games Foundry, Home Guard, the Dad's Army figures, those are the ones he's using. So that is Pike, Godfrey, Manwaring. That they are the Foundry ones. You'll find they're smaller, but they're better sculpted. The best way to tell actually is to just pull up the Captain Manring. And Manring for Warlord is tall and thin for what appears to be no fucking reason, because he wasn't tall or thin, whereas the Foundry miniature was short and fat. So
which one in the project picture is the one you are referring to?
Back down. He's far. If he's the same as your Manring, you didn't buy the Warlord Games ones, mate. Because I can go next door and pick my copy. Stop. Scroll up. Up. The set of 3.
So it's
those are War Games Foundry.
yeah. I say this dude on the left definitely looks a lot like the one in the picture.
Yeah,
this one.
We go War Games Foundry. And then I pull up 28mm. And I want to see World War II Dad's Army. British. And then I go Home Guard Heroes. And I go... This is the ones in his project that I own. And then I go Warlord Games. I go www.warlordgames. Don't look fucking anything like dadsarmy.com.
That would be a nice URL.
Oh, it's a great URL. It brings me to it exactly. You'll find they're actually A, shit, and B, bigger and more angular. I don't know why they're more angular. It's like somebody chiseled them out of fucking rock instead of sculpting them out of something clay and soft. There's no round edges to any of the miniatures for Dad's Army. They're all just very angular. Shite, I think, is the action. Shite.
Maybe they were some early 3D printing prototypes.
No. They predate 3D printing. They're just shite. Home Defence Force, you say? Unavailable. That's alright. Just show me the picture, Faxdan. Oh, that's not a picture. That's so fucking far away. I couldn't see that if I was using the Hubble telescope. Fuck me.
Well, then we all have to take...
WarlordGames.wank.
Well, then we all have to take your word for it.
Oh no. No, I'm not prepared to be beaten by Warlord Games' inability to fucking take a picture. Here we go. Here's the Wilmington-on-Sea Home Guard. Oh my god. Oh, they're all suffering from fucking dysentery. Oh, Christ on a fucking bike. Look at them.
Maybe they're late war.
Oh, Jesus, they're shit.
Oh, that's definitely thin, yes.
Oh, I mean, you can see him in the middle with his fucking glasses on.
Yeah.
It looks like he's shitting through the eye of a needle. He's balls. He's fucking balls. Anyway, you will find they won't scale as well because Wargames Foundry are an older range, but they look better. Oh, fuck me. Look how bad. Second from right there, Godfrey. Godfrey's supposed to be an old, fat man. Conscientious objector in World War One.
Like this one?
It's the second from right in that picture as well. That's great. It's like Warlord fucking lined them up the same so we could... They have actually lined them up the fucking same, have they?
More or less.
They have more or less lined... Have they no shame, for fuck's sake? Anyway, so yeah, Godfrey. How fucking bad does Godfrey look from fucking Warlord? Fuck
he
me.
doesn't look as healthy as his
No, he
counterpart.
doesn't. I mean, Sister Dolly would be going, oh, Godfrey, you shouldn't go and join the army today. You look like you're fucking suffering from dysentery and going to die.
Well, but
we're doomed.
But they have the name Dad's Army, so they are selling.
They are the official Dad's Army 20 years after Foundry made theirs. If you ever want to run a Dad's Army 28mm force, go to Wargames Foundry, pick up the old ones. You will not be disappointed. They look so much fucking better. Yes, they're slightly smaller, but fuck me.
Well, they're old men. Old men tend to be smaller.
They are old men. They are smaller. This is true. All of that.
Well, on to the next one. Another army project.
Where were we?
We
Tim,
are now
focus,
at
man.
Astra Militarum.
It's fucking 10:30 almost.
Start collecting
Jesus
box.
wept.
By Frederick 555.
Warlords. Oh man.
A name
Oh.
that has been around more often in recent times.
Yeah, I don't know where Frederick came from. He came out of nowhere.
He came from behind.
Came from behind, coming at you like Cleopatra, and just starting to mop up all the golden bats that were kicking around. He's been doing a bit of thing. I think you looked at this one last week. I think from what I remember, but I included him anyway because I haven't
could be,
looked at
but
him, so
those are new
fuck you.
entries because the 4th of August is a week past. So the Commissar hasn't been part of that.
Oh, well,
Definitely
that's
not.
all right then. That's okay.
So
can
he's
live with
working. No, this is a totally new project because it doesn't go past the 6th.
Oh, that's all right then.
So maybe I had a different project by the same
I don't
nice
know.
dude.
They'll blur after a while, you know. This is why I try
Especially
not to
when
pay attention.
everybody and their daughter does 40k.
Yes,
Be creative,
much
people. Do other games.
it's well, to be fair to Frederick, fuck off flies. To be fair to Frederick, he does do other games. He's always popping up there with something different. But it's a nice little single miniature.
It's
I
a
know
nice
how you
pose.
like to zoom in on the cloaks at the rear to see whether or not people have not done a particularly fine job on the piping based on last week, where you were criticizing somebody. I can't remember who it was. I'm going to say it was Denzian because he's here. Do you remember Denzian last week when he was going, you can't draw a fucking piping line? Oh man, what a bastard. Honestly, I can't remember. I do remember you bitterly annoying somebody and going, I found a fucking mistake, but I can't remember who it was you found the mistake on. So, you know, somebody.
I can't leave a good hair on anybody. That's
No,
just
you
it's impossible.
No.
Also, we had quite a how to say, a very adult conversation for 10 minutes about 3D printing. It was scary.
Yeah, that was.
Denzian says I'm a cunt. Oh.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. Good day.
You know, but you know, he's a how can I put this mildly that won't offend the children? Turd burglar.
There are no children in the chat at this point of time.
I hope not.
If there are children, I blame the parents.
Oh, I would. Like the gift of 40k, I blame the parents.
Because any
Definitely
responsible
growing.
children wouldn't let somebody watch a stream that is clearly stating adult humor. I know I wouldn't.
That's one way of doing it. But yeah, it's a really nice little commissar. I really like how he's done the gold braiding / piping.
Yes,
because
he started with it very early in the project, which irritates me a bit because most time those things are painted last.
It's the last thing to go on, yeah.
And
but
he's
gone,
done it after.
Fuck it, I'll do it first, and then I'll use the overlay to neaten up to get the fine lines for the piping. And there's a bit of highlighting going on there on the piping that is almost like non-metallics, where the back of the miniature, you can see.
And maybe this model is especially suited for this kind of painting because these trims in the middle of the coat are, I'd say, a pain in the ass to paint.
Yeah, I mean they're deeply engraved. Did I get that fly?
I hope so.
No, I don't think I did. I'm going to spend the rest of my life chasing this fucking fly. There's only ever one fly. It's a fucking family of them.
Well, it could be worse. It could be a mosquito of sorts.
We don't have them in Ireland. Bless you.
Thank you.
We have midges. Well, hang on. Hold the fucking phone. There's one here. Hang on. Ah, you little shit. He was on the edge of my cup. I thought I would be able to get him there, and he fucked off just as I was about to press my thumb against him. Anyway, I digress. It's just a really nice little commissar. Rocking all the gold braid.
I'm quite intrigued on how he will finish the base. He started with a crackling paste. it looks like. Yeah, cracked earth.
I'll be interested to see how he goes himself. I think and again, I'm going to go back to Vallejo smoke. I think pushing extra contrast between the piping, so where you've got the gold on the edges of the lapels and then going into red, it's lost. So either having a black or that brownish red smoke just to define the edges, and on the white waistband as well, it's very flat, but it's a nice bit of work. Just needs something just to edge it over, you know.
Well, he's trying his best.
He is. I mean, you know, at least he's trying. He's not like Ben, not even bothering with object source lighting or anything. He's just, you know, plowing on.
Well, then we shall stroll on to the second to last Victorian Empire again. Denzian.
Oh, this be Denzian. Oh, here's where he pulls it back for me. Here's where he pulls it. Oh, I mean, he may have a bent barrel on a stub gun from 2 years ago, and you know, you just go, oh, that's a bit balls, Denzian. What are you even doing with your life? And then he goes, you know what I'm doing with my life? The fucking movie set from Rourke's Drift. At which point I'm going, you know what? You had me at Rourke's Drift, Sam.
A movie set? Are there cameras involved?
Yes/no/yes. He's already done the accurate historical layout, as we've seen a few weeks ago, but the Zulu movie has a set of buildings that do not. They filmed it miles away on a completely different bit of land, and they set up these buildings to be the church and the fucking storehouse and all sorts of shit, and none of them match the historical counterparts. So he's made the buildings historically accurate. He's got a set of buildings that I think are. They're not 20 mil. I'm not even sure what the other fucking set of historical ones are.
Well, if he's still in the chat, we could ask him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm assuming he's typing as I'm talking here anyway. But then he's doing this set, which are just solely based on the schematics from the movie set of Zulu, with Stanley Baker and Michael Caine, which give you some great moments. Like we have there, Hooky drinking his brandy. And I imagine we will get the drinks cabinet on fire and that sort of thing. So this is interesting because he started off doing things like, I'm going to do wood flooring, and then going, oh no, hang on a minute. In the movie, it's all stone floor, so I would have to fucking pave the floor. So the buildings have a similarity to the historical counterparts, but aren't really accurate. So he's got the base that can be used to play either or whatever way he wants to go. The movie plan is further down, yeah. Because you had built them off the set design. Did I ever post my movie versions for The Men Who Would Be Kings?
I don't think so. At least I haven't seen them. But what I would like to see in that that building is actually a camera crew somewhere in the corner with a microphone and some lights.
Crews, but they're mostly 1980s/90s for moderns.
Well,
although that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be fitting, wouldn't it?
In the corner while the Zulus are attacking. Yeah, there are less rooms in the movie version. Also, the layout's a bit different. You don't have as many levels are off, and rooms change sizes, and directions change as well. So it was a bit wild. It was a geezer.
Well, but it's safe to say he's done a good job, and we hate him.
Oh yeah. At least to be fair, Hookie's gun is straight here, not like that stub gun. Just saying, working rounded.
The banana barrel.
Banana barrel. What?
Next up, and last project for tonight. Is Swill doing Star Wars Rebels painting?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like painting, does it?
No. To be fair, he's Danish, so he probably doesn't know what painting is.
They are playing. Those
at them.
bastards.
Look at them.
Nobody's
Look.
wearing a mask. Nobody's
No.
keeping distance.
If you look at the back row there, sitting down in front of the camera, or not in front of the camera, in front of the lights, that's Christian.
The first picture?
Yeah. Oh, well, you can see him pick his nose there. Oh, there we go.
That dude in the middle.
Where's your cursor? Put your cursor. There you go. That's him. Yep. There we go. You may remember him as being almost as tall as me, and occasionally playing other games when Stefan pushes him into it. In fact, Stefan's the big fella on the right, on the last table.
The grey or the blue one?
Him, blue. That's Stefan there. So I don't know who took the photo for him. Clearly got a ringer.
Maybe he brought some money?
You know.
Or
that's
the
one way of
tournament
doing it.
organizer himself.
I like to imagine that the
Oh, look at this.
chair with the squeezy bottle at the front is what he hosed the people down with.
They have little vehicles and animals that are not from FFG.
Badgers and widgets and shit like that. Yeah, they do. They also have vehicles from FFG. The Bantha eating the shit at the, I suppose,
Tuscan.
trough gives a really nice idea. I feel like I'm playing Knights of the Republic where you've got the Sandman camp.
Yes.
You know,
Oh,
it's good.
I remember those two. Those are the 3D printed files that someone gifted me.
Oh, nice. You should make, what you call the egg? Justin, you should make Justin paint them. Print them out and paint them before you send them to you.
Well, I've got them printed out by someone who did them as test prints 2 years ago, and
Isn't it Justin?
they are already printed.
Oh, well, there you go. Showing off. Did I tell you I got like 9
Yes, you showed me the
tattoo in
picture.
building? Did I?
Though the
Somebody on eBay was selling some ship prints.
the term miscast is a bit misleading if it's a
Yeah,
3D
well,
print, but
Yeah, not miscast, but a misprint. So, you know, they went skew F on the top, so the top isn't like purely domed and stuff, but they're tattooing buildings. I managed to pick up 9 of them for £9.
and they are
With
definitely
£3 postage, so it's like 12 quid. It's like, fuck it, send them here. I'll hit the shit out of them with a heat gun and fuck spackle over the top of them, and we'll be golden. And that's my my tattooing table done and dusted. So that's nice.
I say you'll have a winner there.
I think so. Oh, I'm not going to make any more. It's fucking 9 buildings, more than I need. But yeah, he's
Especially if you only
painting
play
away.
the
Got a cat
500
and
point skirmish version.
you know, who knows what I'll play? Who knows?
Who knows when we
Who
are going
knows?
to play again? That's the
I
more
know.
important question.
By the
Well-
time I play, chances are I'll have forgotten what the fucking rules are again. Then I can watch everybody in the comments bitch at me for not knowing the rules. That's the most important thing I feel in life.
So somehow I feel like you're talking to me directly.
No, oh god, no. No, you're so far down the list of people bitching at me for not knowing how to play. You know, it's not even really worth my time talking to you. There's so many other cunts out there. Hang on 1 second, I've just spotted this. Look, I've got a thing from Fable Realms.
So who are you pissing off now? Denzian?
I can't remember who it was. Complaining about Fable Realms. There's so many cunts complaining about Fable Realms. We're all there. I shall, you know.
And here I am, not even caring a bit about it.
I wouldn't. There are rumours that they may print something at some stage to discuss. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, my biggest problem currently is getting a new supplier of plastic crack when my Flandry game store is closing down.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It is.
What about some of the people in the area who came down just to pick up shit for cheap? Have you considered setting them on fire? I mean, it wouldn't help you get a new local game store, but it may make you feel better, because quite frankly, if they could have got down there already to buy cheap shit, then they could have got down there to buy it when it was relatively even money.
Well,
And
to be
give them a
honest,
shell suit.
to be honest, he didn't really close shop because it didn't pay off at all, but because German law has enforced in the last 2 years different changes in regards to how your cash register had to be run, etc. And it just got some... You're out of focus badly suddenly.
That's just because I'm leaning back. Don't worry.
And they have been thinking about closing shop for some time, and the pandemic forcing them to close shop completely simply made it a bit more easy. So yeah, it would have been going down either way.
That help?
A bit.
No?
Yeah, now it's better. So currently there are 2 online stores I know of, and I have visited before, and both of them have regular brick and mortar stores, so I'm not completely shipping out on supply.
Oh, that's not bad.
Supporting a brick and mortar, because to be honest, there's one store in our city that does supply, sort of, but it's literally in the city center, so it would be quite annoying to get there. He isn't cheap at all, and I don't feel well in his shop, to say it that way.
Yeah, I do suggest setting fire to people who
and the next
didn't bother helping.
The next local game store is, again, that's Highlander Games in Bremen. Nice store, nice stuff, but I won't be driving 100 kilometers to pick up my stuff.
No, 100 kilometers seems a bit far in the grand scheme of things.
Especially if the prices are a bit above what everybody else is getting. Not wanting to cheap out, but, well... Twisted.
I'm quite interested in this. Not just because they sent me this to review, plus some of the starter sets, but they've 2 European stockists now. I don't know if they've had stockists outside of England, because I couldn't find any. So if they have, they've been well hidden. But G2G Games are now stocking Twisted and Wamp store, like a Wampa, but Wamp, W-A-M-P. And I went to Wamp store when I discovered this and started looking through what they sell apart from Twisted. I was like, oh fuck, I wish I'd never looked at this, because it's just filled with... It's not even fucking miniature war games. It's just filled with really nice miniatures, which I think is possibly why they're stocking Twisted. But it's like, oh, I can get myself a set of bunny rabbits to go with my giant bunny rabbits with my halflings. I could just have like tiny bunnies running in front of my giant bunnies.
You suddenly feel that drain in your wallet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I haven't suddenly felt it. I felt it. They'll be arriving any day now. But it's... yeah, it's interesting when stores go away and sort of forces you to look outside. We haven't had a real game store since the dungeon died in its arse. Probably about 7 or 8 years ago, if not more. At which point it was just interwebs or nothing, and then we had a small store in Belfast called the Old Toy Box that mostly sells things like Scalextrics cars and stuff, and then they've got like a small selection of random shit that they don't know what they're buying in, so they just buy in pretty much whatever they're told, and then you might find something that's worthwhile from Plastic Soldier Company or Wild West Exodus or Vallejo, but you might just find a load of shite. And I don't imagine, I can't see them coming out of the coronavirus intact. I imagine when they allow people to go back in the stores that the toy box is just fucking dead as dead.
Yeah, that's it's a shame. And the next
I do mean long-age bandages. Yes, you're correct.
The next game store that's actually selling the stuff I want, apart from Highlander and Bremen, is the I think it's called the Purple Dragon, and that's in Groningen in Holland. Which is another 100 kilometers the other way.
If there's 2 things I can't stand, it's people who are intolerant of other people's cultures.
And Dutch. Though they have very nice stroopwafels. Very tasty.
Oh, stroopwafels are fucking amazing.
Yes, and they are so good that they are actually sold in local shops here.
Oh, we
On-
never seen them for years. We used to have to get a friend to bring them back from the Netherlands.
I literally can go on to my local supermarket and buy them and eat myself to death.
Oh, that's good. Sorry, just
Well,
staring.
Groningen is the partner city of my hometown, so yeah, it must be worse.
Right.
Oh, thinking of Groningen, I'm thinking of the Pannekuchenschip, which is a fixed ship in the canal where you can get nothing but pancakes. In every variation you want.
I'm thinking of longboats in the canals where they have the windows open and a big pair of breasts on the ledge. That way you know they're open for business.
Wow.
That's a very different thing there.
No,
Just
we're
saying.
not talking about Amsterdam and the red light district here.
I'm just saying, it was eye-opening to be a quiz team member who won a trip to the Netherlands when they were 17. She's going, my word,
Well,
what's going on here?
something similar happened to me when I was about 18 and I went to Amsterdam with a friend of mine and his parents. They went for a Andy Warhol exhibition,
Nice.
which we also looked at, and then they went on to going more museum stuff, and we thought, well, we just wander around town and see where we end up. And somehow we got lost. Suddenly we stood at a canal, wondering why all the peoples were looking at one side of the canal and not the canal. Then we turned around, and we've seen all those blacklight lit windows with barely cladded ladies, and went, oh,
I
we
remember
need to get away from here.
we got lost after having won the Irish News Quiz Team of the Year. We got lost in the red light district and we found our teacher. I was like, what are you boys doing here?
Looking
"We got
for
lost,
you."
sir." What are you doing here? Just go back to the hotel. Come on, no problem, Mr. Gallagher. We'll do that. Where's Mrs. Gallagher, who was also on the fucking thing with us? Anyway, so you know,
Well,
case you're
shit
wondering.
happens.
shit happens indeed.
So, after we set a new record with 2 hours 45 minutes,
Oh, Jesus, you do talk too much. You really need to wait. I mean, we're aiming for half an hour.
and now
Why can you not stick to the script?
because I keep imagining having
Me naked.
no, that's the other thing I imagine. I imagine
Oh.
having you and Big Ben on the show.
Oh,
I'm keeping this one.
I must have a wee chat with Big Ben and see what he's doing in the coming weeks.
If he suddenly appears on stream, I'm going mental.
You know,
I need-
And is it next week? Well, this is the 11th, 18th, 21st. Yeah, so next week is UK Games Expo's virtually expo.com thing. So there's not going to be a weekender that week. I wonder if I could get Ben onto the fucking show next week.
If that would happen, I need some preparation time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need more alcohol for that, and I need to take the day off after that.
I would.
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
Ben, say bye. Bye.
Bye.
I thank you, everybody. We will read you again next time.